glad I got some.
And then, of course, tell me when you're ready to start recording.
Okay.
Just say, and go.
Da, da, da. Here comes the clouds. Whoever's in that picture on the stove with Lissa looks like Adrian. Adrian, hey, sweetest boy. Today we're talking about beans, 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 beans. Going to go to Beanville, Wisconsin. Going to go to Beanville, Wisconsin. Gutting a knife, stab, stab. Gonna have some beans, beans, beans. Gonna have some beans, beans, beans. I think we have to do Monday.
What?
More beans.
You got somebody watching.
Mowed the yard today. Well, I weeded the yard. It's like 450 degrees outside. So I'm a little sunburnt. My little pink head's a little redder than normal. It's not high blood pressure. It's just a pink face from the sun. They say you're supposed to get like a certain amount of sun every day, but us pink people don't like that. So eventually, whenever the world goes into chaos, all of us pink people are going underground. We're gonna have a society underground of just pink people. We'll have giant dilated pupils. We'll be pink still. It'll be great. I'll love it. I don't like heat, so I'm a little sapped. I know I shouldn't be drinking skanky tea.
Yeah, you should be drinking water.
Oh, the water's hot though.
There's enough for a cup in the refrigerator.
Aw, shoot. There is. Holy shit. Milk jugging it. Thin it out. The dog chewed on this Rudy's cup. So you can only fill it up so high or it starts leaking. So that's your limit. Disgusting. Today we're making fishwada. Fishwada, fishwada. Fizwada. Fizzy water. We are going to make an awesome dish, my favorite dish. 3 people are in the room, welcome. And go. I caught you off guard. You weren't ready. No?
What?
I said, and go.
Oh, okay. Going.
Yeah. Is anybody out there?
We're recording now.
Anybody out there? I was looking for people in TV land. Welcome to Lessons in Cookery. Woo! Today we're going to talk about beans, musical fruit, and we're going to be making my favorite dish that is a stew. A stew-based dish is my favorite. Now you got your chili, you got your beef stew. Yeah, those are great. Everyone loves those. And then you got your stews from different parts of the world. But this one here is by far my favorite. Now, a little side note, I'm a carnivore. I love meat. So, every chance I get to have some meat, I'm pretty happy. I went to Disney World, and they have this thing called the Tour of the World, where it has all these different countries around the big thing in the middle, around the lake. And there was the German place, and we booked a dinner there, and we went inside, and they have a buffet. And I was so happy, because my heritage is German, and everything just had meat on it. They had a meat salad, everything had meat on it. It was amazing. I was so happy. Giant beers, which I can't drink anymore, but just meat everywhere. Charcuteries and fresh and just grilled and fried and just meat everywhere. So every time you, hang on, I'm choking. All right, shut it down, I'm choking. Okay.
Fine.
Yeah, I know.
You know what they say, if you're talking, you're breathing.
Mm-hmm. That's true. So today, we're going to make my favorite dish, and that is bichola, which is a Brazilian meat soup, or meat stew. It is the national dish of Brazil. So I hope I do it justice. I tweaked it a little bit because it has things in it that I'm not a big fan of. Like it usually uses the sausage. And then as far as the stew is concerned, other than the black beans and whatever meat you want to put into it, you want to have a smoky flavor to it, because everything in Brazil has smoke in it, because they are the originators of barbecue. So, not killing anybody, I'm just opening up my garlic. So this one, I got to get on the stove real quick, only because the ham hocks that I have that go in the soup, they take a while to cook. So I want to be able to at least have something to put on a plate by the end of the stream, which maybe we'll have a little bit longer stream if I feel well and I'm dancing around and enjoying myself. I think that's up to you, stream viewers. Come in and talk to me, say howdy. Let me know how your day's going. Tell me, give me your 2 cents on what you think of Brazilian food. But the main staple in this, because I know we're talking about beans today, there are a multitude of types of beans, and they go in everything. You can have them in salads and soups, of course, which we're doing today, stews. You can put them inside things. You can have them as a side dish. You can have a main course. You can make hamburgers out of them. They're very versatile. They're probably even more so versatile than rice, because they can be mashed up, they can be refried, and there's a little story behind refried beans. In case you were wondering, they're not actually called refried beans. Originally, it was a mistranslation of the word, and it's actually well-fried beans, because you actually don't refry beans. They are called well-fried beans. So, next time somebody says, hey, I want some refried beans, you say, no, 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 they're well-fried beans. So anyway, so beans are pretty much go through all cultures. All cultures have a bean, whether it be a fresh bean like a green bean or a sweet pea or a snow pea or zipper creams or black-eyed peas. All of them are all over the world, and they're pretty much in everything. You can put them in pretty much anything. So I like beans. I think that I should spend more time on the bean, but you guys, I know that you're like, oh, they're just beans. So I'm not going to show you any new way of dealing with beans, but I would like to explain to you how to cook beans so that you understand. So once we get into our black bean, which is what we're using today, I'll give you a hint on how to cook proper beans. And most of the time with stuff like this, like beans, and if you look on the back of the package, you're pretty much home set. You're set. If you just look on the back of the package, it will tell you how to cook the beans. There's two methods to cooking beans. There's a quick soak, and then there's an overnight soak. Now, a quick soak just means you take the beans, always rinse them off and pick through them, because no matter how fancy they are, you have an opportunity to get a rock in there. And that rock is no way tasty, nor does it feel good when you chunk into it while you're eating a dish. So make sure you pick through your beans and then you rinse them to get off all the dirt and shipping dust and stuff like that. You can buy them in bulk, you can buy them in bags, you can buy them combined with other beans, and then you can buy them canned. Well, I'm hungry. Hey, double fishes, welcome. We are going to make fishwala today, which is a black bean and meat stew from Brazil. So I'm excited about it. Like I said, it's my favorite dish. I love this dish. It's hands down. If I go to a dish, and I don't know, it's a close tie with chili. I really like chili, but this one is it's got orange in it. It's amazing. I love this dish. When I had my restaurant, this was we did a tour of the different countries, and this was one of the main, I think this was the first country we started in, was in Brazil. And so right now I'm peeling garlic unsuccessfully because I'm terrible at it. No, but so I want to make this dish for you guys because it's a really, really cool dish. Thank you. I appreciate it. It is bright red. Now that's my face. I was out in the sun today, and us pink people don't do well in the sun. So I was out in the sun, and now I'm bright pink. I don't have high blood pressure. My head's not going to pop. I just have a pink face because I was in the sun today. So don't hate on my pink face. So like I said, this is a multiple meat soup. Now what those two M's, multiple meats. Just imagine having a soup with meat in it, like beef stew, and then you pile in all these other meats inside of it. And the beard is red too. I know. Yep. I am a total beacon for helicopters to land. I am a red tomato right now today. But it's due to the sun. My beard's due to being German and Irish descent. My son's bright redheaded, so he's a real redhead. I'm like a dirty redhead. So yeah, everything matches. I'm eventually just gonna blend in my background. I'm like a chameleon. I'm like a pink chameleon. So what up, Teach? Hey, Panda Templar, welcome. We are going to be making fishwala today, which is the national dish of Brazil. They usually serve it with a rice and a green. So is that why you wear the red smock, to blend in with the redness? Yes, it kind of cuts down on the pink face. If I wore white, I would look like a magic marker, like a red magic marker. So I try and hide myself. So, but this dish, I love it. It's my favorite dish. I thought your colors were just off from the B squad. No, actually A squad today. I got my main tech here today. Sound is like a roller coaster. Panda Templar said the sound is like a roller coaster. I don't know what that means. I don't know if my sound person does. What does that mean? Is it fixed? She should have fixed it. She just screamed at me and said, "Fixed it." So let's hope she fixed it. What are you making? Oh, what's up, James? Sometimes clear, sometimes you should like you hid in a walk-in. And hey, Gabby. Hey, James. What's up? Welcome to we're making fishwala today, James. Thank you so much, Double Fishes, for following the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Everybody, if you haven't given us a chance, at least follow us, and then you'll get notifications. That would be great. You're making who? Fishwala. It's the international dish of Brazil. This is the go-to dish in Brazil. It's my favorite dish. Everyone asks me, what is your favorite dish? This is it. It is a stew that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different meats in it. And it's a black bean stew. So it's got 6 different meats in it, which, I mean, realistically, one meat's usually enough. 1, 2, 3, I think it's 4, 5. Yes, it's got 6 meats in it. This is a 6-meat stew with black beans. I have no idea what that is. I know, it's a 6-meat stew with black beans. Stew.
Grandma's here.
Hey, Grandma, welcome to the, Abuela. Hey, Abuela. Welcome, Abuela. Right there, the Biho Dro is actually the Tex grandmother. With beans, yes, your favorite. Thank you so much, James. You can't even get in the door, though. No, you get it. So, is the sound good? Did the sound fix itself? I hope so. I superly hope so. If the sound's still messed up, let us know so she can make adjustments, because she's back there typing away. Bad Family Guy reference. Oh, okay. All right. Yes. Yes. So we are making bushwala, which is, like I said, it's the international dish of Brazil. And we start out with our black beans, and I couldn't make black beans on stream today, but I did yesterday, because you got to soak them overnight. How do you spell that? Hang on, the tech will put that up there.
Wait, put what?
How do you spell the bishwala?
Oh, okay, hold on.
The stew. She'll type it in text or into the message so that you can spell it. Okay, Josh? So you take the black beans, and like I said, you go through them and you pick out any rocks. I usually take a sheet pan and I'll spread them out, and then I'll just go through them and pick out rocks. These were pretty good. Spanx Chef. All right, I got a spanking. Yeah! Thanks, Josh. Always wanted a spanking. So we take
How do you spell that? How do you even start?
Huh?
How do you even start spelling that?
It's right there. Hang on a second.
Oh, okay. Alright.
It sounds nothing like it's spelled. No, not dishwalla. It's not the dish. No double fishes. It is fishwalla with an F. It's fishwada. No, it's like fish water. If you had to pronounce it, it's fish water. Fish water. Or it's fish wada. Fish wada. Fish wada. Fish wada. Fish wada. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Is there fish in it? No. There's fish wada. Fish wada. Fish wada. Fish wada. I practiced on it all day. And because I'm white, sounds more interesting like that. Yes, fish water sounds way more interesting. Thanks, Gab, says Josh. Like fish and water. I know. No, Abuela, it is not fish and water. It is made of...
called you today, Grandma,
like
to ask you how to pronounce it.
Yes, because I'm white. I'm white through and through. Pink on the outside, white in the middle. So it's not double fish. It is not double fish. Hey, look, it's double fishes. No, it's not your dish. It's the international dish of double fishes. No, that is not what this is. So anyway, back to the beans, you psychos. So I got my black beans and I went through them, but like I said, you soak them overnight. And most beans, most hard beans like this, you'll have to soak. Now there's a quick soak method where you just throw them in a pan of water, bring it to a boil, take it off the heat, and leave it covered for an hour, and then come back and start it up again. But last night I soaked these beans, and then this is what I'm gonna just. No, I'm not gonna shove my hand in like a psycho. Hang on. So I soaked them overnight. I did my first simmer, and I cooled them down because they take way too long for this stream. But that's what they'll look like once they're cooked. So you go from this to this. See? So they swell up. They look good. And that's really where I want them, because these don't, the main cooking point of this dish is all the meat. So you got to know how to put that in. So we got to start out first with setting our beans aside. So we're going to start out with our, first thing we're going to cut up is our onion. So what are the meats in the stew? The meats in the stew are, I've got some carnitas, which is a pork chunks, is what that is. And then I've got beef jerky goes in it. And then I've got a smoked sausage that goes in it. And then I've got my favorite, and the one thing that I chase after when I make the stew, I don't think it has meat. I got smoked ham hocks, and then there's also bacon in it. So, and then I put smoked paprika in it, so it has this smoky Brazilian flavor to it. So there's no fish in it. We are going to do an Asian fish stew with coconut milk, but that's not this episode. This episode is straight my favorite dish. And it's a vishwala. And I know I'm chopping that up a little bit when I pronounce it, but my white tongue will only let me say so many words. And that does sound like that, I admit. There's a mat underneath my feet, and it's when I move your feet across it, it sounds like farts. That's not because we're having beans today. Yes, beans, and some more beans, exactly. Yay, no meat, no meat. Yeah, no meat, just beans. No, that would be just a bean soup. So we're going to hone our knife, because remember, there's a difference between honing and sharpening. If you sharpen your knife, you're using a stone and you're changing the edge of the knife. You're changing it you're messing with the true edge of the knife. And what I mean by true edge is if it sits. Is abuela getting a plate? Probably, yeah. Usually the food I make ends up at her house anyway. So if you're honing, all you're doing is, oh my God. If you're honing, all you're doing is straightening out the edge of the blade. I'm aim at the camera. So when you hone, all you're doing is straightening out, because the edge, when you cut, will start to curl over like this, and the hone just brings it back to straight. A sharpening knife or a stone will take this edge off and put a new edge on, and if you don't keep the true edge, which is the flatness of this knife when it's on a cutting board, if you mess with this true edge, then the knife isn't as efficient anymore. How are you anything Mexican? How are you anything Mexican? I'm not at all. White is white. No. What do you mean no? What does no mean? No, it has beans. Yes, it has beans. Oh, she doesn't want it because it has beans. Wow. Okay, abuela. You get whatever you want. You can always eat around the beans, you know. There's a lot of meat in there.
She doesn't like beans.
I know. But there's a lot of meat in there.
But somebody else at the house will eat it.
Yeah, that's true. So, back to my knife. Whenever you hone it, all you're doing is you're straightening out the edge of the knife. Okay? And remember, there's 3 cutting blades to a knife. There's the chopping side, which is right here. There's the cutting side, which is the middle. And there's the slicing blade, which is at the tip. So we're going to use all 3 of these blades whenever we do this. Don't know Mexican, not like beans, is like a pure Puerto Rican, not liking plentas. I know. She doesn't like to make them. She doesn't like the smell of them. It's crazy. I don't understand it. She's a rarity. Because you said Abdullah, so I thought you were Mexican. Oh, abuela? No, I am not Mexican. That's the few words that I know in Spanish, and I like calling her that. I don't know if it upsets her, but I call her that anyway. So we're going to cut up our onion so we can get that sauteing. We're going to get this stew on the go. So here we go. We're going to take our handy dandy onion, and I didn't even show you how to hone a knife. Terrible me. So when you hone a knife, bring it back up to the main screen. So when you hone a knife, you're taking the knife, you're creating an angle, and you're just drawing down the hone. One side, the other side, and you'll feel that slight resistance of the blade on the hone, and that's all you're trying to do is just straighten out the edge. You're not trying to reform a new edge. That's what a hone's for. I've had this knife, daily use in a professional kitchen. I've had this knife for 10 years. I've never sharpened it. All I've done is hone it every time I use it. Well, if I remember to. I didn't remember to yesterday. I got called out for it. So, no Mexican, not like beans. Because you said, oh, okay, but I make them in there. Yeah, she makes them. She'll make beans, but she doesn't like to make them. Anyways, I will go to sleep. But I will be here listening to the sound of beans cooking. Thank you so much, Double Fishes. You have a good night's sleep or good day's sleep or whatever. You might be a vampire. I don't know. I have no idea. You could be a vampire. But thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for lurking. I appreciate it. Like I said, all the bodies we can get in here, the better and more entertaining this is. So we're going to cut our top of our onion off. Go back to the cutting board. Thank you. We're going to peel the outside layer. And like we had talked about before, onions are vegetables, and all vegetables have a defense mechanism because they don't like to be chopped up and eaten. So an onion releases a gas that goes into your tear ducts. It starts to create sulfuric acid in your tear ducts. So that's what makes you cry, is the gas from the onion as a defense mechanism, because the onion doesn't want to be eaten. So to combat that, you can chill the onion in a freezer right before you cut it. That will help hold the gas down away from your face. Or cut the onion away from your body a little bit. I've grown an immunity to it. I don't have the problem of crying when I cut onions. I used to, but I just cut so many onions that it just doesn't bother me anymore. So I'm taking my knife and I'm putting it to the cutting board for safety, and then I'm just pulling out. Putting it in. Now you can use your cutting blade, which is the blade in the middle, and go straight down. Cutting blade. But you want to get the knife to the cutting board. That's your first movement. Whenever you use a knife, the first thing you want to do is make contact with the cutting board before you go forward with a slice, or before you go forward with a cut, before you go forward with a slice, or before you go forward with a chop. You want to make sure the knife is touching the cutting board. The onions make me cry like I'm watching a Disney movie, Rookie. But no, they don't. I don't cry when I cut onions. It's probably because I'm a redhead and I don't have a soul. So I'm going down, I'm using my cutting blade, which is the middle blade. I'm not taking the knife off the cutting board. See, if you look, I'm pulling the knife up and I'm just going straight down. I'm pushing forward when I cut. Now I can do this really fast, but I want to show and demonstrate so you guys can work on your knife skills. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to do the same thing. Same motion, same cut. All I'm doing is I'm turning the onion around and I'm working the knife towards the onion slowly. But the knife should not leave the cutting board. That's how people get cut, is when that knife leaves the cutting board and you're chopping on an unstable surface. There's my onion, which we've got to get in our pan. Got some onions, nice onions chopped up. I like my fish wallet to have a little bit of an onion flavor to it, because you really have to combat the amount of flavor from all this meat, because you want each individual piece of meat to have its own texture and flavor. So I want the onions to keep up with all of that, because there is a lot of meat in this. So we're going to peel another onion. Do the same thing we did before. Remember, the key to a safe knife is a sharp knife and a knife that's always making contact with the cutting board. So I take it and I go to the cutting board, go down to the cutting board, go down. The first motion you make should be to the cutting board. That is the safest way to use a knife. And holding the knife, you should hold it with two fingers, these two. And if you look right here, you'll see how red that spot on my hand is right there. That's where all the pressure of a knife belongs, is right there on that knuckle. If you find a chef, grab their dominant hand and open it up, and there should be a callus right here, because that's where that knife sits. And then I use this thumb, and this is what holds my knife, for these two fingers. These other fingers that I have on the knife are for finesse, so they help me move the knife around. But you're holding it like this, and you hold it lightly, and the only pressure you should feel is right there on my pink finger. So I got my knife like this. This is how I hold it. And then I put the knife to the cutting board. And then I push down using my cutting blade, which is the blade that's in the middle. Now I'm going to use my cutting blade, and I'm just going to come down. I'm going to put the knife on the cutting board. Hope you can see this. Angle your body to your work. Don't hit your work straight on. Angle your body to it so you're able to lean over it, so you can see this side of the knife, the side of the knife that's away from you, so that you're able to see what you're cutting, and you can get the accurate thickness. I'm going down and then through the onion. Knife doesn't leave the cutting board. All I'm doing is slowly slicing this just so I can show you guys. Now if it's too tall, if you're having to rank it up like this, like because I'm kind of tall, and I'm even taller to this cutting board, And if it's really uncomfortable that you have such an angle on your arm, then take the knife and start, and then go to the cutting board and then go down. So you can keep the knife off, so you're doing this. But you're always going to the cutting board before you start your cut, whatever cut it may be. And we're just going to do the same thing. Because knife safety is a big deal. If you want to get proficient at a knife, you have to get skilled first. Because skill comes speed. Once you have your skill, then you'll get better at speed. Don't try and go speed first, because then you'll bring sloppy technique into a speed situation and you're going to end up cutting yourself. So work on your skill first, and then speed eventually will work its way into the system. But always start with practicing skill. Do it as slow, as comfortable as you have to, and then you'll be able to have nice, clean, efficient cuts when you start working on your speed. So we got our onion. I got some half beef and half pork sausage smoked. I got it from the grocery store. Until I get my smoker, which if you look up there, down there, up there, above us, we're raising money to get a smoker because I want to do barbecue from around the world. And I actually found one. We haven't changed the price yet. I'm still waiting for tech to take care of that. So we're going to use the exact same cut that we cut the onion with. We're going to use it to cut the sausage. So I don't want big pieces of sausage like at a barbecue place where you see sausages this big. I just want nice thin pieces, because everything that I'm making here should fit on one spoon. So I got to dice accordingly, and I've got a lot of meat in this dish, so I want my pieces to be relatively small. So I'm going to do the same cut, angle myself to the cutting board. I'm going to cut in, and all I'm doing is pushing forward. It's the exact same cut. It's the same cut that you cut the onions with, you're using to cut the sausage with. Now, if you don't want to angle up like this to get over the sausage, when you're drawing back through, let your knife start your cut. See that? Knife starts the cut. Then your knife doesn't even have to really create an angle. So, oh, you need that?
I got it.
Okay. So you got a twitch code. So, see how I'm doing that? I'm just using the knife as I draw back to cut into the meat. I hope this is coming out on camera. Yeah, it is. See that? It's just a motion. It's like a sewing machine. And the less movement and flair that you put into your knife cuts, the better they are, and the faster you can get, and the safer it is. Because that's the big thing with knives. If you're not in control of your knife, and you don't have it resting on the cutting board, you're creating variables that's going to get your fingers nicked. That's a pretty good amount of sausage, I think. So we got our sausage. Put that in a bowl. And then we're going to get out our bacon. Ooh, I love this sausage. And like I said, whenever you make this dish, just if you have a sausage that you really like, jalapeno sausage, cheese, it doesn't matter. That's the sausage I recommend that you use. Just because it's a Brazilian national dish, and you can make it like the traditional way, but Brazil's really weird about regions. And every region has a completely different way of making this soup. So you can go anywhere in Brazil and you'll find all these different regions with this same soup as their national dish. Get out of here, my friend's back. But it's made completely different. It has different ingredients in it. And that really has to do with the section. If it's an affluent or a coastal section, you'll see better quality meats. But if it's like a hill country or in the jungle sections, then they have different meats that are less expensive. But because the stew is so convoluted with flavor, I'm going to flip that one out there, that you actually get you just get a completely different soup. So I like that about the soup. Is it's like American. What's a good example? American barbecue. You know, there is no traditional American barbecue. It's about region. If you go to a different region, it's an entirely different barbecue. It can be the same product, but it's entirely different. And look at Brazil like that when it comes to food. I'm really working on my cutting now. Don't realize how sloppy I was. Oh, don't be upset. You got to go back to the basics. I would say the number one thing that I spend most of my time on whenever I teach somebody how to cook is their knife skills. And it's not that they're doing it wrong. You just have to find what's comfortable for you. But the fundamentals are keep it on the cutting board. That's the fundamental about knife cutting, about knife usage, is keep it on the cutting board. Because if you take it up off the cutting board, you risk it moving in the wrong direction, and then you end up cutting yourself. But as far as because I've seen this before, and this is really interesting to me. I've actually seen it on Twitch. There are some people that are having cooking shows, and you see their finger on top of the knife like this when they're cutting. But if that's comfortable for you and that's the way you rock your knife, more power to you. I mean, it's going to work on your carpals, and it will start, if you do it every day and you're doing it 8 hours a day like a professional chef would, this finger up here will start working on your carpals, which are right here, and your wrist to give you carpal tunnel, and it will start wearing out your wrist. That's the only problem with putting your finger on there. But if you're just a casual cook and you feel safer putting your finger on, more power to you. I've seen people do it, and you know, even in the professional arena, I've seen them do it. That's the way you cut, that's the way you cut. I don't have no problems with that. But always remember, the most important thing is to make sure that knife's on the cutting board while you're cutting. Even if you're chopping, it's still on the cutting board. Even if you're slicing, it's still on the cutting board. The knife has to make it to the cutting board. Super, super important. So we're going to cut up some garlic real quick. Again, I've angled my body to the cutting board. Just short little chops. I'm using the back of the knife, the chopping blade, because it's not really fibrous, so I don't have to draw my knife through it. Just chopping up my garlic. Oops, that piece got a little bit out of control there. Give it a couple hits. And then after a while, you don't even have to look at what you're cutting. You can stare into the camera romantically. Nah, it's good. Never learned cutting skills. Yeah, that's and it's about safety. I mean, it's cool to see somebody just rail through some fruits and vegetables and, you know, just cut like a crazy person. But in all actuality, it's just a function, and you want to try and keep yourself safe, because nothing worse than going down into a carrot and finding out it's actually your finger. So.
Okay, I figured it out.
What?
Sorry.
That's okay. So we're going to cut up our beef jerky. Again, this is a little tougher, so I'm going to keep my knife on the cutting board. Chopping, 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 chopping. That's good. I don't like chunks, like big chunks of beef jerky. It will soften as it sits in the stew, but I don't want, because it won't ever not be stringy. So I just want this as a flavor and like a little burst of little smoky pieces of beef jerky. So I'm going to cut those up nice and small. I love this dish because it's so simple and yet so dynamic. And then the friggin' slice of fresh orange on it, and then you get a little orange zest in it, and that hits your mouth. Huh?
Sorry.
Hey, Drea, where have you been? I thought you fell off a cliff. By the way, every once in a while, a big blue box is showing up. Yeah, we know. She's working on something grand. I don't know what it is.
I was fixing the bowls thing.
Oh, sorry about that. She fixed it. Good call, Drea. Your awareness is uncanny. You're like a ninja. I know, she's working on getting herself on the B
squad wouldn't have even figured that out.
That's true. B squad would have never fixed that. So today, Drea, we're making feijoada, which is the international dish of Brazil. It is basically a black bean and meat soup, which is my favorite, by the way. This is absolutely. I know, Josh, you're all good. You're good, Josh. This is my favorite. Everyone asks me, what's your favorite dish? This is it. This is my favorite dish. So we're dicing up some of the beef jerky. That's probably enough. Got some scraps for Tech to chew on. So we got that going. Now we're going to bloom some spices, which if nobody knows what blooming is, you had me at 5 meats too. Yeah. We're going to bloom spices, which means we're going to take cumin and cheers.
Ow.
We're taking cumin and smoked paprika, and we're going to bloom them in a dry pan. So I remember where I put it. And this is going to smell amazing. This is my favorite. Oh, I love this. Need a bloom emote. I know. That'd be nice. So what I mean by bloom spices, if you're in the room, you've never heard me say this, I'll say it every time, is when you buy seasoning in a grocery, or I'm sorry, whenever you buy herbs in a grocery store, even pepper, even anything other than salt, you have to bloom it, which what I mean by bloom is each individual little piece of this cumin, which is what this comino, each little piece of this has oil inside of it. And as it sits in this bag, and as it sits in this bottle, this bag, they start to dry out. They start to dissipate all of their flavor. So even the stuff that you buy brand new that day still has dissipated the flavor. So the only way to bring that out is to bring some gentle heat through it to release that oil that's trapped inside each individual little piece of the comino, or what, it doesn't matter. Whatever spice you're using, you bloom it first, which means you take a dry pan, and we're doing this bishwala, so I want to put quite a bit of cumin. Chicka chicka chicka, chicka chicka chicka. That's good. And we're going to put quite a bit of smoked paprika, which smoked paprika is just paprika that they've put smoke into. They've cold smoke, and it smells amazing. So we're going to put some of that in there. That's good. No, it's not. It's just spread out. And whatever, because once we bloom this, then we can take it out and then we can use it as the soup needs it. So we're going to bloom this amount just to get us off the ground. Coming over to the stove. Now on this, you do not want this to burn. And remember, we only have a dry pan, and direct heat.
Got a new follower.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Uncle Corey, welcome to the stream. We are today. This should be it. That's it. We are blooming our spices. We are making fishwala. So thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Got some extra beef jerky if you want it. Tech. You want here? There you go. A little beef jerky. Got to keep her happy, or she'll shut this down. So right now we're blooming our spices, which if we go back to the stove, did we lose our stove? No, we've got it. She's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So we took our pan and we've got our spices in there, and all we're doing is putting gentle heat to this from the bottom, which is direct heat. So I kind of want to move this around a little bit because I have a lot in here. So right now I've got smoked paprika and I have cumin in here, or comino. And all I'm trying to do is bring the oil out of the spice so that I get the potentially most flavorful, because even if you've ever been to a restaurant and you have like a Mexican restaurant and you've had a dish and it has that weird flavor to it, that I can spot unbloomed comino in any dish because it has a completely different flavor than if you bloom it. So every time you work with dry spices, you bloom your spices first before you use them. It's basically a traditional, I mean, all Indian dishes, like your curries and your masalas, they all bloom the spices. So there's no reason, and it works out effectively. I mean, that's how you get such strong flavors in Indian food, is they toast their spices. So realistically, what you're doing is you're blooming them. So every time I use a spice, I will always bloom it before I actually put it or start with the dish. So we bloom our spices in the beginning, and then all of our fresh herbs, like today we're using cilantro, all of our fresh herbs go in at the end of the dish, right before you serve it. So your spices go in first, and you bloom them, and then all your leaves or your herbs, because the difference between an herb and spice is a spice is the root, the stem, the bark, the seed of a plant is a spice. The only thing that is an herb is the leaf. So your herbs go in last, and everything else goes in first, which are spices. And I always bloom them before I start my dishes. So right now I'm just trying to bring up some heat into my spices so that they'll start. How you know they're done is you'll start to smell them. They'll like fill up the whole room with this beautiful, just deep, complex, like cute comino. I love blooming comino because it's such
a different flavor and different smell when you bring the oil out of it. Like regular old comino, like you sprinkle it on your tacos, if it's not bloomed, I don't like the taste of that. I think it just tastes uncooked. It just, you can't get the oils out of it that make it such a great spice. So I love it whenever I can go somewhere and you can actually walk in the room and you can smell that they've bloomed their comino, and it just smells so different and tastes so different. You don't get that bitter, weird, raw flavor you get whenever you have like enchiladas, and the enchilada sauce has that weird, raw flavor to it, like that weird spice. That's unbloomed comino. What happened to Drea?
She said she's gonna grab some food.
Oh, you believe. Yesterday lurked. You had D&D at 8. Cool. Yeah, you go. Okay, be right back. I'm going to grab food. Excellent. See you in a minute, Dre. So, oh, that's starting to smell. Starting to smell amazing. So, remember that. Primarily, I think it was Josh who blooms his spices now. Correct, Josh? I could be wrong. But I think I showed this to Josh, and now Josh only does this. And that's a lot of the tips and tricks that you'll see that I do, is I will show you something, and then you try it, and you're like, holy crap. But I believe it was Josh. Yes, sir, every time. Yep, so Josh now blooms his spices, and so if you think I'm talking out my butt, ask Josh, because it makes all the difference in the world. It will elevate everything you make to a different level, just by simply doing this one thing, which these are about ready. Oh, that smells so good. It smells so good. It really changed the flavor profile of the dishes. It does. It's you can't not do this, and it's simple. You just put in a dry pan, and then just leave them sit there for a minute until they start to smell, and then that's bringing out the essential oils in them, and it changes the way you make food. You don't want this to smoke. In other words, if it starts smoking, that means it's burning, because there's nothing in that pan to stop that from burning. There's no oil, there's no protection. So you have to be, medium low, right there. There they are. That's them. And as soon as you smell them, and after a while you get used to the smells of the spices. So I'm dumping that out because I need my pan to start my onions. So let's do this. Let's start cooking our bacon. First. This dish is going to take a bit because I have those ham hocks. So I want to get right into it. I'm going to take my beef. No, I don't want to do that yet because I don't want these crisping. Woo! So, Josh, you're right about the cumin. I did fajitas the other day, and they were so much better than when I previously made. The cumin has so much better. It does. It's especially cumin. Cumin is such a different animal whenever you bloom the spice. I actually didn't like cumin before I started blooming spices, and now I'll put it in everything. I'll sneak it in my breakfast cereal as long as it's bloomed. So I don't want the bacon to fry. All I want to do is toast it. I just want to get some of the fat out of it so that it creates some lubricant for my onions and stuff. So I don't want it fried. And that's the one thing about this dish that you have to avoid, is getting crispy anything in it. Because remember, it's a stew. So we're just going to cook up that bacon. It smells amazing. It still has some of that leftover spice in the pan. So it smells like cumin, and it's got that smoked paprika smell to it. It smells amazing. I love it. So how's everybody's Thursday? Oh, shoot. One more day, folks. One more day, and it's weekend bound. Except for James. I don't know if James made it in here yet. Thank you so much, Josh. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. That is so appreciative. I really appreciate that. I do. We're catching a few followers, getting some bits. That's what it's about. Well, actually, it's about showing you guys food, but that's always nice. Nice to know that we're a little, that we're appreciated in what we're doing. That makes me super happy. Makes me want to come back tomorrow and make dessert. Which tomorrow we're making dessert. Not my favorite day, but I'll do it. I love making desserts, but I'm not a big dessert eater.
unless it has some sort of twist to it that brings a salty or a heat flavor into it. It's Josh Purple Head. Yes, my son's purple head. I thank you. Thank you, Josh. Oh, Josh. So, putting the bacon. This is about right where, just before it starts to crisp. Like I said, I'm just rendering some of the fat off of it. And then I'm dropping my onions. I think that's too loud. People may. That's true. So I'll put my onion in there. Oh, this smells amazing. Now, what the reason I'm cooking my onion right now is because I don't want it to be onion flavored. So I've got to bring out some of the sugars in the onion to try and make my onion sweeter. I don't want my stew to have a raw onion flavor to it. And that's another trick, is always saute your onion. Even if you're putting it in something that, you used to, like, if some people make soups and I'll just throw onion into the soup as is, and it always has that raw onion flavor to it. So always saute off your onions before you dump them in anything. You don't have to cook them or fry them. You just got to start extracting some of that sugar from the onion so that they're not, so it doesn't taste like you just put raw onion into a soup. Oh, it smells amazing. I love it. My heat's on just above medium because I don't want to fry this. Remember, I'm just trying to bring up the heat so that it will open up the, get the sugars out of the onions. But I don't want to caramelize them, and I don't want to get them to start frying. So we're just going to leave it like that. Give it a little toss. I remember the first time I was working I was the sous chef at a banquet center, and we would always take, you take the pan instead of having to drag a spatula around with you. You just sit there and toss it. And in all actuality, we're not tossing it. We're throwing it forward into the pan, and the lip of the pan is making it come up. So you're basically just throwing the food against the front of the pan. Well, there was a new kid that started there, and he sees everyone doing this. And some people are more efficient at it than others. So he went just balls in. He went straight into it, and literally, it was a pan full of, it was full of onions, and it had some, it was like, he was making French onion dip. So he had all this onion in there, and he had some dill in there, and he was rocking it out. And he actually we used the dill stem, which would have been the spice, to flavor the onion before we made the French onion dip. So he's taking it and he picks it up. His first time ever doing this, he picks it up and goes, yeah, and everything in that pan flew behind the stove. Like there was nothing left in the pan. There wasn't a single piece of onion left. He literally just threw it all behind the stove. So it's like, well, so I would give him, every time that he had nothing better to do, I would give him a pan, and I'd put like 4 marbles in it, and I'd make him to just toss the marbles. It was an old, crappy pan. It was no good. So I made him toss marbles. Because that was like, come on, dude. You worked on that dish for like a half an hour, sauteing down your onions beautifully, and you just threw them all behind the stove. I didn't yell at him or nothing, but I was like, come on, dude. Come on. But he was so excited, he wanted to do it. He wanted to be the first one to do it. Yeah. Wait. Don't say, oh yeah. Yeah, and onion too. Yes, it is. Raw onion is pungent and sour, and it tastes like a freaking raw onion. Because remember, taste is 60% smell. And if you smell onions, that's what you taste. Because theoretically, if you plug your nose to the point where you absolutely cannot breathe at all, and blindfolded, if you took a bite of an onion and you took a bite of an apple, you wouldn't know the difference. It's totally your smell that triggers what you think you're eating. So, yeah, that's why you've got to manipulate each individual piece of food so that your dish comes out flavored with everything that you put into it. So you have to look at each individual item that you're cooking and not just consider it to be, oh, well, I just add onion. No, what is it that you want that onion to do? Do you want it to have a bite and create some texture? Do you want to just mutilate it and fry it down and make a sweet onion flavor to it? You know, you've got to look at each individual item in the dish to determine what role is that, like what, in this instance, what role is that bacon playing? What role is the onion going to play? So everything in your dish has to have a certain reason for being it in there or why have it in there. So I'm a big firm believer in that, is that if you put something in a dish and you can't taste it, then either you failed that little piece that was being stuck in there or there's no reason to have it in there. So whenever I'll do, like, the local schools have their competitions, and they'll bring in chefs to judge the kids, which is kind of sad because they are just kids. But they would have to explain nervously what they're making. And if I tasted it and I didn't taste the products that they put into it, I would have to bring it up that, you know, it's nice that you're doing this, and I understand what you're trying to do, but you have to manipulate each item that you put into it to bring out the proper flavor of that item so that it stands out. Because it's going to get bullied. Whenever you stick it in a dish, it will get bullied. And if you're putting an item in a dish that you know is going to get bullied, like this garlic and this onion, by the time I stack all this other stuff on top of it, that onion and garlic are going to have to fight to actually retain flavor. So for this, to counter it, I put in more onions, but I'm sauteing them off so that they're sweet. And I just added my sliced garlic, and I didn't chop up my garlic because my garlic has to last the whole process. So I didn't, and right now I just smelled that strong, strong flavor of garlic. So all I want to do now is bring the oil out of the garlic and make it a little bit sweet, just like I am the onion. And everything has a reason for doing what you do. You don't just throw everything into a pot. Now baking, on the other hand, is pretty much just throw everything into something and bake it. But with cooking and being a home chef and really pushing your skill level, just start focusing on each individual item that you're putting into a dish, and then find the best way to manipulate that item, aka manipulate the water in that item to bring out the ideal flavor so that it makes sense to even have it in the dish. I hope that makes sense, because that's kind of my whole deal, is that if you're going to put it in the dish, then it has to have some sort of flavor. That's just super important. So we got our onions and our garlic, and it smells amazing. Now, what we're going to do is, so I don't have to combat the coldness of my fork, I'm going to stick my fork. That's probably enough. Yeah. I always have a tendency that when I make this, I make a ton of it, because I love it. And then I'll put my sausage in there. I know, I always need a bigger pan, right? Always. And then I'll put my beef jerky, and then I'll chop up my chorizo. Chorizo. There's chorizo, like the stuff you eat for breakfast, is fried. It's really squishy. Comes in a tube, or like a sausage, and then there's chorizo sausage, which is hard like salami. When I bust mine. That's funny. You all get that one. Can I have a cutting board? Thank you. So I've got some nice hard chorizo that I'm going to cut up and put in there, and that's straight flavor. Chorizo brings out that straight, amazing vinegar. It's kind of a vinegar, and the cumin and the chili powder. It'll just rocket through this dish. It'll make everything in this dish have that little bit. I'm cutting it to a little bit bigger than when I cut the onion to, or the beef jerky, I should say. So I want it to last, but that's going to add so much strong, sort of like a tomato paprika flavor to it. Welcome back, Rhea. Huh? No. What?
I switched to the stove.
That's fine. I'm going to go back to the stove now. I know, I'm terrible. And then I got these babies. Smoked ham hocks. Oh, I love these. These take forever to cook.
So what I want to do, if I'm lucky, I can find the, yep, I'm just going to slice into them. I want to cut into, I'm not going to cut them apart. Oh wait, go back to the, okay. I'm not going to cut them apart, but what I want to do is I want to get some slices into them so that the water will permeate them and start warming them up quicker. Because otherwise this soup takes like 4 hours to make. So for you guys, I just want to cut some vent holes in this to help warm this up. You would not believe how much it smells in here. It stinks in here, folks. It just flat out stinks in here. So I'm just cutting randomly around the ham hock. I got 3. This soup's gonna be huge. And I'll eat this soup for days. I will. It goes, we're gonna make some rice to go with it, and we're gonna make some kale. Now you can use collard greens, that's traditional. I made collard greens the other day on stream, so I thought I would make some kale, something different. Take my ham hocks, my ham and a ham hock. I'm gonna put my ham hocks in my pot. I'm gonna bring that up, and I'm gonna start the heat on that. I'm not flipping that, but I will turn it. Look at that. Oh, oh, that smells so good. You cannot beat this. You cannot beat this stew with a stick. Black beans, multiple meats, smoky flavor from the smoked paprika, which I haven't even put in here yet. That's what I'm gonna do right now. So I got my cumin and my smoked paprika. Oh, thank you. Okay. So I got my cumin and my smoked paprika that have been bloomed. I'm gonna add that to the dish. I added about half for now because it's bloomed, so I can put it in if I need to after we combine it with the beans and we can give it a little taste and see. Oh, that smells amazing. I love this dish. This dish is good in the summer. It's good in the winter. It's good in the spring. It's good in the fall. It's good on a boat. It's good on a house. What is the green eggs and ham song? The poem. Green eggs and ham. Green eggs and ham. How I love green eggs and ham. I'll eat it in a tree. I will eat it in a shoe. Gross. No, but don't eat this out of a shoe. That's the only thing that I won't eat it out of is a shoe. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? So, let's see. Not yet. The one thing I am going to do, which they don't usually do, is I'm going to take an orange and I'm going to cut it in half. I'm not going to squeeze it, but I got to make sure I don't have any seeds in it. Okay? And I'm going to cut off that little back part. I washed these when I got these home, but I want to use this orange and I'm just throwing that in the stew. Okay? Because that goes a long way in this stew. So I'm going to throw that in there. Oh, my ham hocks. Ham hocks are making noise. Look at this. Come back over to, look at that. Oh, 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 dance with me, devil. Dance. Look at that. Quick, everyone, take a picture. That ain't the most gorgeous thing on the planet Earth. Screenshot that. Or I don't know if you can. No? Are you listening to me?
You want me to screenshot
I
it?
guess not. Why the orange? Because Josh, the traditionally, the Vishwala has orange in it. And I'm telling you right now, if you put it in there, it makes all the difference in the world. It really does. It makes this dish so complex. Ready to do it again? Screenshot. Look at that. Look at it! Isn't that gorgeous? That is straight meat. That's meat with some meat on top of it. And then there's a little meat. So, did you get a shot of that?
Oh, wait, I can't.
Alright, wait, we're gonna screenshot one more time. Look at it!
Hold on.
Yeah, Josh, for you, this is right up your alley. This dish would just, you would love this dish. This is straight right up your alley. This is a Josh 101 dish. So now we're going to put all of this with our ham hocks, our hocks of ham.
Ooh, your face looks weird though.
Well, we can always cut it out. I just wanted the picture. We can cut my ugly face out.
Well,
Great.
the first one was pretty good. You were like,
Good dish.
but I didn't get that one.
Now we're going to take our bean juice, cooked our beans, and now we have this nice bean juice. And we're going to dump it. Now my beans are cooked a lot further along than the meat is. So I want to just take that nice, sexy bean juice. Some beans can go into it. I'm going to show them. We'll bring it back over there. So I put most of go to the table. I put most of the water out of my bean juice into my soup, and then I'm going to bring it over here and we'll see what it looks like. Look at it! Look at it! And the beans that are in there are going to break down and they're going to thicken the stew.
Hey, make that stupid face again.
No.
And screenshot it.
Oh, you were?
Yes.
Right, hang on, I've got to start this. Here we go. Look at it! Wait, let me stir it up. Hang on, let me get it right now. It just looks like a mess. You're supposed to be all smooth about it so they don't know we're doing this. You're supposed to be all cool and
This
smooth.
is my first time doing it. I'm trying to figure it out.
Give it a stir. There you go. Oh, now it's like a watery mess. No, I don't want to picture that. This is ugly. Let's cook it a little bit before we get to that point. So now I've got my bean juice in there. I got my bean juice. I got some beans left over. Now, as it starts to come up to a simmer, we're going to start losing water, and everything in there is going to start to expand. So we continually add water to it. We want to keep about maybe half an inch to an inch above everything in there underwater. So every now and then just come back and stir it so that you keep everything underwater. Are you on the stove? You are, but my camera's in a terrible spot. We're going to have to fix that camera. We're going to find a better way. I should just build a mounting bracket for it. I mean, everyone says don't put it over top of your stove, but I don't turn my stove up to the point where it needs to not be over the top of my stove. You know what I mean? I don't destroy things in a frying pan. I might add some more of this. Let me taste it. See where I'm at? It smells amazing. Oh, yeah. Mmm. That's really good. Oh, I hurt my arm patting myself on that. Now I want to use because I still have it. Look, put it on the table.
Table.
I still have stuff in my pan, so I'm going to add a little water to that, and I'm going to bring that out. Because any water I add to this dish, I'm going to be boiling it back out, so it's not going to change the flavor as long as I'm doing that. As long as I'm not putting so much water into it, because I'm always bringing the water right back out. And it's not like when you steam something, it's going to change the flavor. It's just you're spiking it with a little bit of water, and then you're bringing it back out. Oh yeah, I'm going to bruising out that big cast iron Dutch oven and doing that this way. Oh yeah, absolutely. Josh, 110%. You will not believe this dish. When you make this dish and then you put fresh orange slices on top of it and fresh cilantro on top of it whenever it's done, you're just gonna die. But that's this dish. That's why it's my favorite dish. Honestly, my favorite part of it is the orange at the end, because I grate a little of the orange peel into it, and you get that fresh burst of fresh orange flavor, and then you get the deep, and I'm talking deep flavor of the black beans and there you go. Yeah, and what better, I mean, all the meat that we're using, now traditionally they use a smoked pork chop, which if you did that, you could smoke your own pork chop and use that in the dish. I don't have a smoker. Again, going back to the raising funds for a smoker. But once we get our smoker, then yeah, we'll be smoking our own pork chops. we'll be smoking our own beans. But I just got some. They don't have smoked pork chops at the store, so I just use the smoked uh, pork. What? I used the pork shanks. I just used the smoked shanks to replace the smoked pork chop because I've got the carnitas in there, which is just chunks of pork butt or shoulder. So that's in there. Boiling. You are not. I love this dish. This dish makes me happy. It's one of those dishes where it's simple in idea, but the complexity of it is just. There's no other dish like it. There just isn't. They're so smoky. Why they don't serve this all over the world in every place that I go is beyond me. When I had my restaurant, I actually, like I said, I did the Brazilian. For the whole month, I just did Brazilian food. And this dish by far was sold out every day that we made it. Everyone loved it. And it's like, it's just meat and beans. What two great combinations of things. So I'm serving this with the jasmine rice because I love the smell of jasmine. I have smoked bechamati, but I think I got enough smoke in there for days. So I'm going to use a jasmine rice, and then like I said, I'm making kale. I'm not going to use the traditional green, which is usually a collard green. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Hey, welcome back, Drea. You came just in time for us to throw it on the stove. Now I'm gonna start cleaning up my kale. Like I said, these are going in as we cook. Because I want to break those first set down. I sat down and spilled crap on me. Aww. Sorry, Drea. I hope it wasn't like hot food. But pop. Well, that's okay. That'll dry out. You just be a little sticky. So like I said, we took our black beans, and black beans are one of those beans that you don't want to quick boil because they're hard. The outside husk on the bean is so hard that if you don't slowly bring them up to cooking, then they bust open and they just turn into mush inside the pan. So, and I found out a rule of thumb that the darker the bean is, the slower you want it to come up to heat. Like a cannelloni or a lima bean, all the white beans, those come up really fast, and you don't have to be really careful with them because they're usually cooked as you bring them up. So you can almost quick soak them and then just bring it right back to a boil. You don't have to be so cautious, but the darker the color, the longer they should cook to get soft. Otherwise they just pop apart. And I know that everybody in here has had beans, either has made beans or has had beans that is just all blown apart. And it's because the outside of the bean is harder than the inside, and it's like popcorn. If you start to heat up the molecules inside the bean, the softer tissue, then it's in the hard, and the outside hasn't had a chance to really soften up, then it just splits open like popcorn. The darker the bean, the better. The darker the bean, the better it tastes. No, Drea, no. The darker the bean, the longer it takes to cook, okay? You sure that was pop that you spilled and not like grain alcohol? Dre's gonna tie one on again. So, I got my orange slice in there.
Oh, it smells so amazing. Served with rice and a green. You can't beat this. There's no beating this dish. I'm going to be happy.
Yes, it's the darker the bean, the longer it takes to cook, the slower it should be cooked to keep from exploding. Because otherwise you just have thrashed out beans. Now if you're making like black bean, like well fried beans out of black beans, then yeah, but I don't like abusing my beans. So I always use that gauge. The darker it is, the longer they take to cook. I hope that helps somebody. So these would take the longest because they're obviously the darkest. And it's the same thing with rice. The darker the rice, the longer it takes to cook. It's the same thing. But beans are super paramount. The darker the bean, the longer it takes to finish. No! Drea, no. This is.
Yeah, the darker the bean, the
Yeah,
longer
but she's
the-
being dirty.
What? How do you know?
Because she said he at the end, and I'm taking into account that it's Drea saying this. So like 75% of my judgment on that is that it's Drea. Now, if somebody else said that, I'd be like, yes, that's exactly right. But that's Drea you're talking about. And right now, I guarantee you that's what she meant. 75% guarantee that's what she was talking about. So this is starting to burrow a little bit. I just kept my whole orange in there. It's going to spike that just a little bit with orange flavor. And remember, there's so much smokiness in there that now we have to look at how we can combat that. And that's why I'm not using smoked basmati rice. And that's why I didn't flavor. These beans have no salt. These beans have nothing but water and beans in them. Don't salt your bean water because you want these to carry their own flavor and you don't want that flavor to be salt. But they're pretty, you want to be able to take them up. Could you go to the table? Do I worry about the orange peel? No, absolutely not. There's so much smokiness flavor in there. That orange peel is going to sit in there like a bug in a rug. It's not going to do anything but flavor that dish. Because remember, at the end, we're going to zest a little on there, and that's the reason I didn't squeeze it, because I want to keep the pit, which is the white part of the orange, intact. I want it hidden underneath the peel. So the bitterness is going to come from that pit, which is the white part underneath the orange part. So by not squeezing it or cutting it up or chopping it, so the pit is this part right here. It's against the orange. As long as I don't leave that to come out, that it won't create bitterness. But yes, exactly, like pepper. Exactly. You got it, Josh. You are right up there. Yes, sir. Now, if you guys have a chance, go look at Josh. I don't want to pimp you out, Josh, but Josh has a Discord, I believe it is. Is that on Discord or Instagram?
Oh, no, it's on Discord.
Yeah, go look at his Discord. He cooks
No,
like.
we put it on our Discord.
Oh, well,
The picture is
it's your Discord. Fine, Josh. Forget what I said about Josh. But Josh does open pit cooking, I assume, with all those pictures. He cooks some amazing stuff on like coal. And he's got like a pit that he's got these turnable check it out on Lessons Discord. Yeah, check it out on my Discord. Josh has got some shit, and that's why I brought this dish up. And then Josh comes in. I was like, "Oh, watch Josh. He's gonna be doing backflips." Yeah, Cuda Brea pit. It's awesome. I'm super impressed with Josh's work. I really am. And I knew whenever I showed him this dish, he was going to lose his mind. So, here, bringing this up. And now all we're really doing is waiting, because our beans are already cooked. Oh, no problem, Josh. Absolutely. I would like for you to stream. That'd be a cool stream, cooking over that. Basically, as old tech as you can get. That would be really cool. You should. You shouldn't be thinking about tit, but you should think about streaming. I'm thinking about tit. Tit and it. Cool. So we're going to deal with our kale. I didn't get a lot because nobody in this house loves kale. I love kale. Nobody else loves it. So I just got enough for basically me and one other person. So the first thing I want to do, very important, super important when it comes to kale, is you have to rinse it. And the only way to rinse kale is tedious and boring. And even if you get it from the grocery store, thinking about it, gluten-free grilling. There you go. Just meat. Actually, Brenna is on a carnivore diet, and she only eats like meat and salt. That's all she eats. And I asked her why can't she use herbs and spices, and she said it was. I think her reasoning was that it's not because plants. You can't use plants because animals eat plants. So that's what I got from her, but I don't know. But I was telling her She would love that. She would love to see, just because she's coming in here right now in the middle of grains. Because next we're doing, we're going to move on to, is it fowl? Is it already fowl? Or is it, do we still have, we got to do herbs and spices Monday for sure. And explaining blooming in depth and how that works and everything. And then we move on to fowl. We start our chicken. We're gonna go right into chicken, turkey, quail, Cornish hens, all of that. We're going right into that.
She said it's because of the plant's defense mechanism.
Right. Thank you, Face Kick. I appreciate that.
Josh wants to know if you're gonna go back to the mother sauces again.
Yes, we always go back, especially whenever we start to do full dishes from countries. We will start incorporating back to the mother sauces. Then we will make them all over again every time we use them, just so everyone can get the idea. If you also go to our videos on Facebook or on YouTube and here, we've got all of our videos posted from previous, and the first one we did was the mother sauces. And if you want a fresher course on that, but yeah, we will definitely go back to the mother sauces again and again and again. He started after that. Yeah, it's the first one that's on there. Actually, it's the first two. Because I think the mother sauce took us 2 times. No, the first one was history. Then it was the mother sauces, right?
Yeah, we should have like 14 of them on YouTube.
Yeah, I think we have 14 videos on YouTube.
Or a little less, because I don't think I posted 3 of them.
Monkey's outside. She wants it. She's scratching on the door. Well, poor little baby's outside in the sun. I gotta go let my baby in. 6 already on YouTube. Yeah, I post every day except for the weekends. And then my work schedule is going to change, so I don't know how we're going to do this, but we will certainly try and post every day. Well, I just don't want my schedule is going to ring out. Yes, risotto's next on the list for me. Yes, risotto. That was a fun stream. I really enjoyed that. I really did. I did a shrimp risotto that turned out really nice. And right now, whenever you get the kale, all you want to do is you want to make sure that there's no dirt in these leaves out here, because that's where all the dirt traps. So I usually rinse it and then I put it in a bowl of water because dirt will sink. And then I just start working my kale, trying to dry it out the best I can. Because we're basically gonna, this cooks like a heavy spinach. So we really don't have to do a lot to it to get it to come around. Just imagine like an adult spinach leaf with some body to it. So you can actually give it a squeeze and it's still kale. You don't have to be delicate with it like you do spinach. So cleaning off our kale while our stew is cooking. If you're new to the channel, please follow. Greatly appreciated. We are making bichola today, which is the international dish of Brazil. International dish of Brazil. It is a meat soup with black beans. That is our bean for the day. We were talking about beans earlier, and we brought up that if you have, the darker the bean is, the longer it takes to cook. Don't forget that. So what style of food do you mainly cook at restaurant? I actually, the restaurant that I owned is no longer in my possession, which is perfectly cool because I actually like intimate settings. Restaurant work is tough. It's tough because I care about my food, and it's such a hectic environment that you quickly are ran over by quantity, and quality always starts to suffer whenever you start to focus on quantity. So I didn't really enjoy working and owning a restaurant just because it wasn't me. I love teaching and I love, caring about the food I put out, but the people coming there to eat, well, frankly, and I don't blame them, they just want to eat. They don't give a crap what you did to make it do what. They just want to eat it. So it's like sushi. They don't care that it took you all day to make it. They just want to pile 7 sushi rolls into them as fast as they can. So it wasn't romantic to me. Owning a restaurant was a business. It was an industrial food machine that I just didn't like. So whenever we stopped doing it, I was completely content. I tried it. I didn't like it. And then I went on to be a corporate chef where all I was making was lunch. So but what I would do in my restaurant was I would have my normal menu, which was we basically focused on breakfast and lunch, and I did my normal menu. And then what we would do depends on who it is. I know someone who likes food. I know, yeah, I know, Dre. I completely agree. I'm not saying every customer I had was the just give me some food and don't tell me about it person, but it's so not romantic. Chef work in a restaurant is not romantic unless you have more money than you know what to do with and you're able to turn away customers because quality matters more than quantity. It's that balancing act, and down here there's just no place for it. Not for the type of food I make and not for the style I do. But while we were open, whenever we would do this, every month we would pick a different country, and we would celebrate that country's culture and music and art and food. So every week we would change the chef dish to something from that country. The first country we did, incidentally, was Brazil, just because it fell on the month of the.
No, you were going from the newest countries all the way to the oldest as far as colonizations and stuff like that.
Oh, was I?
Yeah.
All right. I was just corrected on what I was doing in my restaurant. I went because actually the newest, if you look at the path, if you go back and watch the history of food, the newest cultural settlement is South America because that's where everyone ends up. Started in Africa, went up through Europe, then through Asia, and then over Alaska, through Canada, down through North America, then down into South America. That's the path that human beings took. So as far as what they brought with them culinarily and traditionally, it ended up in Brazil. So all the stuff that you see, and then it reverberates back. It just does the accordion effect back and forth. Then the spice trades, the slave trades, they manipulated it, and then the British Empire ruled the world basically. So they manipulated it, but ultimately all of the newer cuisine that at the time when the race ended and everyone made it to South America, that is where I started with, and I want to start it from the newest civilized area, and then work my way back. So I would have ended up in Africa, but I also tied it into months as far as like the 4th of July, the American holidays. I would always tie those into, so we'd celebrate something about those countries.
Give away free cake.
Yeah, we gave away free cake. We made a cake that had red, white, and blue all over it, and that cake got ate up. They tore that cake up. But
free.
I know, free cake. Who's not going to eat the hell out of free cake? So I'm going to give my soup a little stir. So I would say I enjoyed those. I enjoyed that. But we served basically. We did an eggs Benedict from scratch. We made our own English muffins, and we made cured our own bacon, or we cured our own ham, and everything we did in the restaurant. We didn't have a can opener in the whole restaurant. So everything we did, we made from scratch. All of our baked goods, everything we made, our hamburgers were ground in-house.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And I had to do 90% of it because the people that I started with never stayed because it was just, what you doing for the 4th? Drea, I'm probably going to pull the trigger on that smoker before the 4th. And I'm probably going to do a barbecue stream on the 4th. I can't wait. I'm starting to get antsy-pantsy about that barbecue. It's on sale right now. It's only $400. So, yeah. I want to do at least a brisket and probably do some ribs, short ribs, baby backs, not spare ribs. Which, incidentally, spare ribs are actually, you're saying it wrong because originally it was spear ribs. And the reason they called them spear ribs is because they would take a spear and they would weave it. They would weave that long rib bone because it's a tougher meat, and it takes a lot longer to cook a spare rib than it does a short rib. So they would spear it onto these sticks, and they would do it very Brazilian style, where they offset the fire, and you had the stick sitting away from the fire with these spear ribs on it. So that's a little treat for you, especially you, James.
Is that considered indirect heat?
No, it's still direct because it's coming from one angle. If you buy it online, use coupon cabin, you can get 10% back. I'll have to look on that. I thought that I don't even know what coupon cabin is. I am so not savvy in the internet, and it's not because of my age, it's just because I'm so into food that I use the internet for food. And then if I want to buy something that is food related, then I use the internet. But I don't really use it to do much of anything else. That is my unlimited resource of knowledge about food. So I got my kale. It's nice and pretty. Now you can cook kale just like you could cook any other green. You could saute it off with an oil or a bacon fat, which is probably what I'm going to do, because I don't want to lose the strength of the kale, but I want to incorporate a little bit of that bacon fat into it just to help tie it to the soup, because the rice is the barrier between the two. I'm not doing much with the rice. I might put a little bit of orange zest into it just to tie everything together. And I might put a little bit of, I may omit that, and I may put a little bit of orange zest into my kale. But the thing with kale is, if you like a hearty vegetable that stands up to a lot of abuse, a kale is a good way to go that isn't a collard green flavor. It's more of a rebate site. You look up the store and click through and buy it. It registers, and in 39 days you get money. Oh, really? So you get gift cards. I prefer PayPal. Oh, I didn't know that. Tech, get on that. Coupon cabin, go.
All right.
Tech's gonna look that up. Yeah, that would be great. Thank you, Drea. But is that only in your country? She's from the United States. I like saying that. 130 a year. Well, that's nice.
Old Navy.
Oh shit. Well, we just lost our tech because you gave her that website. That's great. So we're gonna wait on our kale a little bit. We're gonna check our stew again.
Oh, that smells so good.
It smells. I can't even express how much this smells like I'm doing this outside. It is just. It's got a little bit of foam on top.
Are you gonna be at the stove?
Huh?
Are
No.
you? Huh?
I'm just stirring it. I just had to give it a little stir. So, we got our kale ready. We're gonna start our rice. So we're gonna put our kale aside. We'll deal with that when it comes to that. I'm gonna take a little drink here. It's funny because now that I started streaming, everything I do I say out loud. So I'm at the store like a psycho, and I'm walking through the aisle. I say, okay, I'm gonna pick up this water, and I'm gonna put the water in the cart, and everyone's looking at you like you're a crazy freak. Cool. Thank you, Drea. You know, I'm going to the cash register, putting my stuff on the cash register, putting my stuff on the conveyor belt.
Oh my God, they have Office Depot.
Every once in a while, some store like Target has flash coupons that say, buy 1040, get 1040 rebate. Wow. But you only have like 4 hours. Oh, okay. Hey, it's something. It's better than just going in with your pants down, going, all right, I want that, and then they go, haha, I'm glad that you want that. Best Buy is really bad about that. Best Buy is probably the worst. They don't give you anything. You have to like Indiana Jones hunt stuff down for Best Buy. They're the worst. But there's a lot of times I find stuff at Best Buy that you can get the same price online, so it's right in front of me and I'll buy it. But as far as getting deals at Best Buy, that's a chore. You use Best Buy. I know, see, that's how crusty, gross, and old I am. Sometimes I find stuff cheaper there. I do. I found that Nano, and I can't use it because it's a piece of crap, or I don't know how to use it. Micro Center. Is that something different? Is that only in your country, Drea? Gosh, I'm so funny. I got them today, Drea. No one's safe. Nobody's safe for me today. So, oh, our rice. That's right. You distracted me with your coupon ways. Where? Oh, look at this, guys. Oh, next week we start chicken. And look what I found. I went to the Asian market. I want to show you this before I get out my other rice. I went to the Asian market and I got myself some, I always say this wrong. Let me make sure I get it right. I don't want to say it wrong because everyone corrects me. I know what these are and I love them, but I always say it backwards. These are wood ear, correct? These are wood ear mushrooms. Doesn't sound right though. Is it wood ear? I know it's something like that. Anyway, it's the big black mushrooms. And it's the wood ear mushroom. Love these things. And then I found this. Look at this, folks. Do you read that? That's right. 2 pounds of broken rice. The only rice you use when you make this. Hang on, I gotta show you. Look what else I bought. I bought myself a clay pot. So I'm gonna make clay pot chicken next week with the wood ear, or the earwood mushrooms. And the only good rice to use in a clay pot is broken rice. Broken rice is basically exactly what it says. It is literally broken rice, and it's the only rice you use. Now there's like, if you go online, you look up clay pot recipes, they'll use like jasmine, they'll use like long grain rice. Nothing beats broken rice. And when I found that, I was like, ooh, I gotta get me a clay pot. I know. You haven't heard of that, have you? Most people haven't. Go to your Asian marketplace and get broken rice. If you want crispy, like whenever you make like stir-fried rice, if you want it crispy, like it's really hard to do with normal rice because there's so much water in normal rice once you cook it. Broken rice is just a smaller rice, and it turns crispier. So that's why they use it in clay pot chicken, because it turns crispy. On the outside you get that nice crust of the rice. Find broken rice. It's worth every single penny for this rice. And it's cheap too because it came from the Asian market. I love broken rice. So I need to find my jasmine rice, which I have right here. Jasmine rice is a long grain rice. It is infused with the scent of jasmine, which makes it amazing on this dish. Now, traditionally they just use white rice. But this is jasmine rice. And I love the smell of jasmine rice. So I open it up and I stick my nose in it. It smells so clean. It smells so fresh. I love jasmine. Jasmine rice, folks. Yay! Jasmine rice. So next week we're going to make clay pot chicken. My favorite, hands down my favorite Asian dish. Not Southeast Asian, not Filipino dish, but my straight go-to Asian dish is this one. Now there's a Filipino chicken dish that it looks disgusting, but it is so amazing. We're gonna make that too. I love Asian food. I just do. Anywhere. My dream. In your country, you have jasmine rice. Well, that's good. Check your Asian market if you have one in your country, Drea, and see if they have broken rice. Because that is a go-to rice if you're going to do anything that has to do with trying to get a nice crispy rice. Hey, thank you, Face Kick. We got a new subber. We got a new, I know where you're at, Drea. That's the funny part about it. Is that Ohio is a country on its own. That's the joke, Drea. Come on. Thank you, Face Kick. We got another sub. Look, we're up to 6. Watch out, folks. I think that is 6. Thank you so much. Oh, that's right. So, Dre, just if you're ever going to make stir fry because you don't have the heat coming off your stove to actually get that stir fry flavor, use broken rice and it helps. That you don't have to try and force that long grain rice into being crispy like it does in stir fry. Try broken rice. It is me approved. Rice, that's what we're working on. Lost my damn mind. So does anyone remember how we cooked rice in the old Kevin's kitchen? That's that right. In the kitchen that I'm in and I happen to be old. Take a pot. What? What are you laughing at?
You.
What did I do?
You're silly.
Well, I'm just trying to constantly talk. They say that's how you get them. That's how you get them. Just constantly talk to them. Just never shut up. I was like, okay, you got it, mister. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use this. I don't care. What are they going to do? put me in culinary jail. Microwave 90 seconds. What, the rice? Yeah, you can microwave rice for 90 seconds. But it's not going to turn out. Oh, you're talking about those bags. Drea, you're in Ohio. Stop it. You're in the potato capital of the world. That's going to upset her. Just me saying that she's in the potato state is going to make her mad.
I thought Idaho was a potato
It is.
state.
They hate that. Because trust me, I'm not the first person to tell them that. Isn't that the potato state? They're like, no! That's a potato state!
Then they fist fight you.
Yes. I love that. That's my favorite part about Iowa. Isn't that the potato state? They lose their mind. No! It's not the potato state! Actually, you are. Actually, you are what? Man, who doesn't? Man, what does Iowa have? Iowa has corn. And lots of corn. Corn as far as the eye can see. They have corn with corn. Their main dish is corn. Nobody's... That's right. I can shoot your face at people. So Ohio is a potato state to me. Yes, Drea. Ohio is not a potato state. Idaho is potato. Iowa is corn. So grits country. Yes. Very good, Josh. Grits and corn pone and polenta and mesa and yes, corn. I think their major export is corn. I love polenta and corn tacos. Oh, I love polenta. I do. It's very French, so even people that like that corn taco with polenta, but a lot of Spanish people use polenta, like from Mexico. They use polenta, but it's actually a French thing. But somehow they grabbed onto polenta because I think it's a lot like cornmeal. Well, I mean, it is cornmeal, but it's a lot like the same stuff that they normally use in their tamales, and so I think it kind of got married into a nice. Hey Rex, what's up? How's it going? Welcome to the chat. Everyone's got Devin's little pink face. So I'm bringing up my water to cook my jasmine rice. We are making bishwala, Rex. And I know you're going to be like, what the hell's that? But I'll wait for it. It's not got fish in it. I did not say fishwala. It's not a band. It is the Brazilian international dish of Brazil. At work, man, as always. Oh, okay. Well, then all you can do is watch. He doesn't even hear anything I say. His mind is blown. So I'm making it's my favorite dish. What the fuck is that? Exactly. Fishwala is a Brazilian black bean and what was it? 7 meat stew. It's got 7 different meats in it. It's got, let's count them. It's got bacon. It's got beef jerky. It's got ham hocks. It's got, what else did I put in there? Sausage. Oh, it's 6 meats. And then it has the carnitas. So it's got 5 meats. It's 5 meats? Oh, and then it has chorizo. So it is a 6 meat. It has 6 meats in it and black beans. And then you put it over rice and you serve it with a green, which is usually a kale. Did you just call me a black bean? Gasp and ham hock. Yes, I just called you a black bean. No, I didn't call you a black bean. That's what we're making. Oh, I always forget. I need to bake the oven at 350. Now I gotta shut my rice water off. I'm gonna take it off so I don't lose all of it. I have to add a little bit back to it. I'm not paying attention, folks. I'm failing you. I love chorizo. I do too. And this is the chorizo sausage. This isn't the chorizo that you get out of the tube and you go into the frying pan. This is like hard salami. This is a chorizo salami. So, but it goes in the stew too. So it's got everything in there. I can show it to you. You want to see it, Rex? This is what it looks like right now. Look at it. Look at it. Meat, meat, and more meat. Isn't that beautiful? Look at it, folks. It's just burling away. We say, I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot. I just see me. No, you're fine, Rex. Talk on, talk on. So, right now we gotta wait for the oven to reach 350 degrees. Beer making pot. Yes, Drea, there's a beer making pot. But then every pot to you is a beer making pot. Huh? Oh, wow. We lost our tech for a minute, so anarchy could ensue. I'm hoping it don't. So we got our black beans all nice and cooked. Like I said, the darker the bean, now Rex will appreciate this. The darker the bean, the longer it takes to cook. So if it's a white bean, that will cook way faster than a dark bean. I can't wait till we start making barbecue sauces and stuff again. I know, I'm super excited. I make a hot sauce that it's got jalapeno, serrano, it's got habanero, it's got onion, roasted tomato, and then it's blended, and I grill all of it. Everything's grilled, the onion, the tomatoes grilled, everything's grilled. And then you throw it all together into a blender, and it's amazing. And what I named it, which I thought was pretty cool, was I took the temperature that it takes to melt different types of steel. So I named this first steel what the temperature would take to melt. Darker the bean, the longer it takes to fit. No, Drea, no. Drea, stop it. That's not what I meant. Drea, you're a terrible Iowan. So we take it, and I named them after the temperature it takes to melt aluminum, and then the hotter one was steel, and then we went all the way up to like cobalt. So we just kept adding more of the habaneros. The percentage of habaneros just steadily increased through the sauces. But it was, I know that's what I said, but I know what you're trying to infer. That's all I'm trying to avoid is your inference into what I'm saying. That's all. You little dirty. You little So, I need more water. I'm dying here. Give your man some water. Done to shame. Oh, it's actually it's exact. I know what it said, Drea. So, like I said, working on our rice. I'm just waiting for our oven to come up. Hey, Drea, that's awesome. I like that little guy. That's cool.
Wait, so if you sub to someone, like if you sub to a bunch of other people, can you use their emotes in other people's chats too?
I don't think so. I don't think that works. If you sub to someone, I don't think you can only use it in their chat.
Yes.
Oh, you can? Well, then hell.
See,
I just don't know where.
See though, like some of them that I see, I can't. Like I don't see them.
Oh, okay. Because I'm not actually subbed to my own channel. That's why I don't get Devin's pink face. Because I'm not subbed to this channel. You probably have it. Or did you sub yet? You haven't even subbed me. My tech isn't even subbed to me. Oh, that's cool. Look.
Dang, Drea, you're mad supporter of everybody.
You're out there. You're mad supporting the crap out of people. Good for you. Good for you, Drea. You too, Josh. That is awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna copy everything you say. Here's $1 million. Yeah. I have 2, and I don't know what the second one's for.
I think it's when you reach a certain amount of subscribers, you get that other one.
Yeah, I'm looking for the barbecue sauce. Yeah, I wanna make I make a root beer barbecue sauce, and I take a specific brand of root beer and I reduce it down into a syrup. Now I've tried this barbecue sauce every way you could possibly imagine. I've tried to actually take all these different types of root beer, so it takes a specific type of root beer. And then I've also tried to use root beer syrups to circumvent having to boil down bottles of root beer, and nothing works but this specific root beer and then all the other stuff that goes into it. But that's my favorite barbecue sauce, but there's barbecue sauces everywhere. And when we do that, when we actually start doing the grilling, we'll attach the barbecue sauces from the different countries that go with it. Like the Korean barbecue and the Brazilian barbecue, and of course all the American regional barbecues. So every time we go into those, we'll actually have a set of different types of barbecues. Oh, okay. It may be the tier 2 I made. I don't think I made a tier 3 because I don't know who's gonna sub me a tier 3 yet. So I think I only have 2. All the good processed sugar from the root beer. Actually, it's not a processed sugar. It's made with cane. That's one of the reasons why it's a pure cane sugar root beer. It's expensive, the root beer I get, and I have to actually hunt it down to find it. But yeah, but it's just I like the barbecue sauce for a bunch of different stuff. But like most Texas barbecue is just dry, and they make a sauce that goes on the side. Got to give me the name beforehand so I can find it. Oh, the root beer, absolutely. I will actually get it. Oh, she's gonna eat this. We went to the Asian market. This is funny, and I got this for the tech. And these are little jelly cakes that are like, it's a red bean cake, so it actually has beans in it. Oh, we should use this for our stream. This is a red bean cake from the Asian market.
Cut it in half for me.
Oh, you want me to cut it in half? Yeah. Josh knows what this is. These are an acquired taste. That's the best way I can tell you this. You're either gonna like it, or you're gonna throw it across the room. Those are your two choices with these, because they have different flavors, and usually the red one is the most palatable, because some of them literally just taste like cooked beans. So this is the one. It's basically a jelly cake, and it's got beans in it. So if you're into sweet beans, then this is your guy right here. So she wants me to cut this. Got this at the Asian market. They have them in boxes. They also have them frozen. I like the frozen ones that you can thaw out because I think that they're better than the ones in the boxes. And it is a jelly cake with beans in it. This is a big deal in Asia. Look at that. I'll show you guys what a bean cake looks like. Look. It's in the shape of a shoe. Why is it?
I'm scared.
Why is it in the shape of a shoe?
It smells like watermelon.
Well,
it's got a weird texture to
it has a weird everything to it. It's bean paste. It's sugared bean
paste. It feels like a fake fat suit.
Yeah, but it feels like a breast implant. All right.
No.
No, I found. The first time I ever had these, I bought like 6 of them. I'm like, wow, I'm gonna get in. This is a shoe. I'm gonna get in. There's a shoe inside there. But the first time I ever got these, I was all excited. A friend of mine and we went over to the Asian market and we bought a bunch of these. We're like, yeah. First bite of the first one, we're like, no, because it tastes like beans.
Did she like them?
No. It tastes like beans. So I want to get that for her. I didn't tell her anything about them. I just wanted her to try it. But it is literally.
Kick in the face of flavor, and that's all he said.
Yeah.
If you ran through a field of fruit with your mouth wide open, that's what it tastes like.
Yep.
That is not what it tastes like. You was dead wrong.
So, yep, that is a unique acquired taste. Now, if you were born and raised on these, and you didn't know anything different, you would think these are great. But all I taste when I eat these are beans. That's all I taste. So I'm not a fan, but I didn't want to let her on. I wanted her to try it completely.
You said you liked them.
Oh, I had to lie to you so you would eat it. If I tell you I didn't like it, you wouldn't eat it. Really, Drea? Wasabi Kit Kats? I don't know what that is. That sounds horrible. Oh, yeah, Dana. Yeah, St. Albright. Now, Or what is the other one, Dana? Denang? What is the other one? My favorite? Chimay?
Chamoy?
Chimay? Chimay. Dana's my cheese expert, so if you guys have any cheese questions, fire them over to Dana. But there is a cheese called a chimay. They make this custard with the red bean. It makes them fried donuts like things that are so good. But yeah, but this is like, Josh, this is like concentrated bean paste. This is like literally, like if you look, it's just straight up, just solid bean paste. And you can't get past that bean texture. It's a Belgian washed rind cheese. And it literally, and I'm going to be graphic about this, so hold on to your hats, Drea. It literally tastes, this cheese, which is called chimay, if you ever find it, all you got to do is pick it up and smell it. Granted, it's already in a package, but that doesn't matter. The package does not stop this cheese. And it makes Limburger look like breakfast cereal. Oh yeah, they got a wasabi Kit Kat. That is just terrible. But it's like if you took a bundle of fresh asparagus and then you crammed it up your butt and then you ran a marathon and then you boiled that down and ate that, that's exactly what chimay tastes like. It is the worst cheese I've ever smelt or ever tried to eat. I tried to eat it. It just, no. That is the worst cheese. So chimay is my #1 gross.
Worse than head cheese?
Yes, absolutely worse than head cheese. The Goebbels would eat it first. The gerbils. Andreas thinks I have gerbils in my butt. And first of all, I said your butt, not my butt.
Oh, wow. I didn't know there was anything worse than head cheese. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Head cheese isn't bad.
All that is the head cheese is just chopped up
Pieces of meat that's suspended in a aspic, a gel. I mean, it's not bad on a sandwich. It's greasy. I mean, because it melts when it hits the temperature of your mouth. The aspic melts, the gelatin holding it all together. So, rice. Our oven is ready. We're going to move on to our rice. Sorry, we got talking about stinky foods. Because I'm an asshole. So whenever I was teaching these young girls how to cook, they were working for me, and I was teaching them how to cook. I would always bring them to the cheese department at the store, and I would make them try the chimay, and I would lie to them about how great it was.
Just like you lied to me about that cake.
Yes, just like I lied to you about my bean cake. So, yeah, there's nightmares involved in that. 6,000 times worse. The gerbils are, what? Belgian wash, what's 6,000 times worse? Oh, then head cheese? Oh, yeah, that's what reminded me. That's what reminded me, yeah. Head cheese is that's cake. That's like breakfast cake. That's like just birthday cake compared to chimay. Chimay is horrible. Bad cheese. People buy it, they love to eat it, and that's just like this bean cake. If you were raised on it, it's not going to bother you. I had a guy that I used to work with when I was in the printing industry, that he would get this, he would bring Limburger cheese. He'd had Limburger and onion sandwiches for lunch, and it freaking reeked. And then his breath, because I worked directly with him, so I would have to talk to him right after lunch, and we were like working, we ran a printing press, so it was like he would yell at me, and I would throw up because of the smell of the onions and the Limburger cheese that was coming out of his mouth. But he was raised on it, so for him, I like sauce, and no, it's not head cheese. I remember I used to trick servers into eating brew and telling them it was... Yeah. Hey, what's up, Vay? Welcome. I'm going to make you a head cheese and onion sandwich. Or no, a Limburger and onion sandwich. Oh, I can still, and that's that whole sense memory that you have. I started talking about the Limburger and onion sandwich, and I literally almost just threw up because I can remember that smell. I can remember that smell like that guy standing in front of me right now yelling at me. Should have thrown, no, I'm sorry, Vay. A Tic Tac would have bounced right off his mouth. It would have there would have been a force field of Limburger and onion smell that would have just destroyed that Tic Tac on entry. The Tic Tac had no chance. I love this stew. My rice water is boiling. I got my handy dandy my rice rag ready to go. Don't want any stray weirdness in my rice. Make sure the rag's relatively clean. We're going to stick our rice into the water. Oh, that soup smells freaking amazing. The other person that lives with us, my son's girlfriend, she doesn't eat anything but chicken. She'll eat like hamburgers or tacos, but she doesn't eat anything but, she won't eat fish. So seafood is a no-no. So all we've been making lately has been seafood. So I thought if I made this, she'll like it. I'm running all over the place.
I know.
Several. You could load a shotgun shell full of Tic Tacs and aim it right at his face, and it wouldn't touch him. That's how bad that smells.
Are you gonna be at the stove? Where are you?
I'm right here. I'm on this side of the camera. Hey, I'm trying to get the rice started, so I have to move. But yeah, and then his wife, because whenever I was working in a printing industry, I was dirt poor. I was making minimum wage, and at that time, minimum wage is $4.25.
Jesus.
So yeah, so I was starving. Every day I would come to work starving. So I would have like $1 where I could eat out of the vending machine, because I immediately went from as soon as I got a job, I got my own place, which was a horrible mistake, because I was eating canned salmon for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I probably didn't have much better breath than he did. But I'm sorry it wasn't Onions Limburger. So his wife would bring extra soup because he knew I was starving. And the soup was so disgusting because it had Limburger in it. And I was like, but I was so hungry that I'm going to throw up if I even think about it. So I would eat the soup to stay alive. But it's like that begrudgingly trying to stay alive dinner where you're like, man, I hate this, but I don't want to die, so I'm going to go ahead and eat this. That's what that was like. Being force-fed vitamins is exactly what it was like. And then, oh man, rice. I found my lid. Where's my lid?
Under your table, it should be down there on the bottom shelf.
Is it? Yeah, it is. I'm going to stir our rice. Remember, we're just bringing it back to a boil, and then we put our rag on it. And then we put a lid on it. Push that down, and we stick it in a 350. Hey, Chef de Party! Welcome to the stream. Thank you for showing up. We were making feijoada, which is the Brazilian. I'm doing great. I said we're headlong into feijoada. We've got the stew going on the stove. I got my 5 different meats. I'll show it to you. Whoa, I can't see it now. Move that stuff in front of me. I've got my feijoada going. It's beautiful. Oh, it smells amazing. It's the national dish of Brazil. And my favorite part of it is my favorite dish. Yeah, now you should know of anybody how much meat is in a feijoada.
That's a sweet name.
I know, I love his name. He's super nice guy too. I've been to his stream quite a few times. I'm so glad you popped in. That's really super nice of you. Yeah, if anybody go over to Chef de Party. He does food all the time. Follow him, give him support. Definitely, he's a super nice guy. He knows what he's doing, and he's fun to watch. He's entertaining. He's just a nice guy. But the international dish of Brazil. So the one thing I like is probably my favorite dish. It is my favorite dish of all the dishes that I make, and I love because it has fresh orange. That counterbalances so much of the umami and the strong smoky flavor. Chef, is this the same bean dish you made? Yes. No, it's not the same bean dish I made when I moved back in. That was 15 bean soup. This was the face kick. This was the first dish I made at the restaurant whenever we did Brazilian food. And it had all that meat in the black bean soup. And then we served it with rice and we served it with a green. Today we're doing kale because we did collard greens before, and I just wanted to do something a little different, a little bit less of a hard leaf. And then we're going to serve it. We just put the jasmine rice in the oven. I cook my rice a little bit weirder. I usually bring water to a boil, dump my rice in, cover it with a towel, a damp towel, put a lid on it, stick it in the oven for 20 minutes, which I didn't even set a timer for. I'm a freaking idiot. So I'm going to set my timer for 18 minutes. Start. And then we take it out and we leave it on the countertop for 10 minutes and just don't touch it, don't take the lid off, and that will finish it. And if you have problems cooking rice, if it's something that you're not really comfortable doing, this is white rice. All the other rices, all bets are off. And as we get into rices, we'll show you how to cook long grain, and we'll show you how to cook the, well, not long grain, but wild, and the brown rice, and all the other rices, because they all take a certain thing. There's some of them that, like black rice, for instance, takes forever. Wild rice takes forever. You just have to keep adding water to it, and you simmer it. It's almost like making a risotto. Remember, the darker the rice, the longer it takes to cook. Same with our beans, like we're doing with today. We got black beans, and we started those yesterday, and the darker the bean, the longer it takes to cook. So, Tried sent me here so I can ask if you wanted to join my new food stream team. It's called Bone In. That's awesome, Chef. That would be great. I would love to. I would be honored. Bone In. I'll fit right in. So will Drea. Drea likes a bone in, right, Drea? Drea's all about the bone in. Put you on the spot, Drea. Yeah, that would be great. I would love it. Yeah, I would be honored. I really would. That would make me feel really good. So we are, and I'm glad somebody referred me. That's even better. Who referred me? So try to really ask you. So Triad. I gotta find Triad. Right on invite. Thank you so much, Chef. I appreciate that. Cool. Yeah, like I said, everybody that is in here, just go to his stream and like or follow. Say Facebook. Go and follow him, support him. He does the same thing, and he does it with class. He does it with style. He's got knowledge. I really enjoy watching his stream. I really do. Had a mod of mine, and it's trying to help me grow the stream. No, perfect. Oh, he's a mod of yours. Oh, well, I'm glad he found me. That makes me feel awesome. I feel honored. Okay, like right now, our Vishwala is starting to absorb that water that we put in earlier. So I need to add more water to it. And remember, we're not diluting the soup. All we're doing is we're adding more water, and then we're basically gonna steam that water back out. So we're constantly, all we're doing is shaking things up and then letting it reduce back down so that it maintains that same strong flavor. We're not trying to wash the dish out. Remember, we're trying to control the water. But right now, because the soup takes a while this soup takes a while to make, so you have to keep reintroducing water to it so that it doesn't dry out or it starts to stick to the bottom of the pan. Because soup's really weird. You can have all the soup in a bowl, and if there's the wrong amount of water concentrate in the soup or stew, everything you have in it will just stick to the bottom and burn. So you'll be like, why is my soup, I have all this liquid in there, but everything in the bottom is sticking and burning? What's happening is the water concentrate in all of the stuff in your soup has to keep a barrier between the bottom of your pot and the stuff. And the minute that balance of water to material starts to get less water and more material, everything starts to stick and burn. So it's really super important that you stir your soups or stews all the time. And the difference between a soup and a stew is exactly the name. You stew it, so it stays on the stove for long periods of time, whereas soups are usually quick soups. It's a hot broth, you throw in fresh things, and then you serve it. So that's really the fundamental difference between soup and stew. So if you're making something on the stove that takes like beef stew, because you stew everything in it, then it just takes longer to make. So that's the difference between soup and stew, if that's ever confused anybody. So I added a little bit more water to it to help that water to product balance out so it doesn't stick and burn to everything. So we're gonna give that a little stir. And like I said, it's now watery again. But we're not close on what we're doing, so we have to wait for that to reduce again. And then we just keep doing that. We just keep balancing on it until everything in there is soft. Because I already pre-cooked my beans from yesterday, I don't have to add those in yet, but I'm going to add a little bit more in there just to help with the thickening, because I want some of these beans to break down and thicken the dish. So I'm going to add a little bit more beans to it. Beans. So that it will help thicken the dish. And I have not put any salt in this dish, because remember, salt is an accent. It's a flavor enhancer. It's not a flavor. Don't utilize salt as a flavor, because then it will wash out. It will literally go in and brine all the little water molecules inside the product so that everything starts to taste like salt. So that's why you don't salt at the beginning of your dish, and you don't salt to the very last end of it. Now there's products in what we're using that already have salt in them, like the beef jerky and the sausage, and all of that has salt in it. So there's way more than enough salt in this dish to carry it all the way through. So that's why we put the orange at the end. But isn't brining salty? Yes, exactly. And that's what I mean. So whenever you start, yeah. But whenever you brine, like what we were talking about, whenever we do chicken and we do salt, all we're doing is we're manipulating those water molecules to carry some amount of something in it. Because once we brine a chicken breast, we don't cook it in the brine. We take it out of the brine and we dry it, and then we do whatever else we want to it. But if you cooked it in the brine, it would taste like a pickle. So that's why we just take it out, and then the inside of whatever it is, whether it's dry brine steak or wet brine chicken, then it maintains that flavor on the inside of the product, and you don't have to use the salt on the outside of the product until the last. And that salt should be something that triggers inside your mouth to be able to change that flavor profile as you eat it. Hey, clowns, welcome to the stream. Josh has been in my ear about food, which I love, Josh. I really appreciate it. Chicken pickle sounds, no it doesn't, Josh. Chicken pickle sounds terrible. That sounds disgusting. Don't make chicken pickles. Shoot, Drea, don't make chicken pickles. Damn it. You know, Josh, we cannot say stuff like this with Drea in the room. Because I guarantee you she's going to say chicken pickles. Got it. And then we're screwed. Oh, see? No, Drea. No chicken pickles. Oh, my Lanta. So, yeah, that's the difference between salting a meal. You should always salt it at the very end because it adds an extra layer of flavor. You actually have a set up to where, but why? Because I said no, Drea. No chicken pickles. So you have an extra set layer of flavor. Because remember, a real good dish has multiple layers of flavor. And if you introduce salt in the beginning of the dish, it will permeate through all of that, and it will start to mess with the more delicate stuff. So if you want to stack flavors, you have to allow them to be in a raw state so that the flavor that you're putting in there stays there. So as you stack, then salt will bring all of that out. So look at it as the opposite. My first stream is going to be chicken pickles just to spite you. Well, Drea, I guarantee you will come and she will subscribe to you. Oh, Josh, it does sound good. No, it doesn't, clown. Oh my gosh. Stop it, anarchists. Chicken pickles are terrible. Although there is one thing that when I lived in Hawaii, I like pickled chips. I do too. But I'm talking about taking brined water with chicken in it and boiling it till the chicken is done. Please don't do that. Now you can make chicken pickles, but I mean it's like what is that? What's that place that you like to eat?
What?
The chicken place?
Chicken Express?
No. Your favorite place to eat chicken. They put pickles on the chicken.
Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A. Yeah, they put pickles on the chicken. That's the closest you should get to pickles and chicken. Yeah, that sounds gross. Doesn't it? That's what I was talking about. Yeah, I see it before. There you go. Go on. GMM. I'm going to make pickle chip breaded tenders. Perfect. You can do that. I'll take that, Josh. I will watch you do that. Don't make pickled chicken. That's just terrible. Just the thought of that makes my jaws hurt. When I lived in Hawaii, they had this little, and it comes from, it was actually, I saw some in the Asian market when we went the other day. They had these little, they're called salty seeds. All they are is plums that have been dehydrated in salt and then rolled in salt. And if you've ever had one, in Hawaii they're called salty seeds, and here they're called salted plums. It's just salt. It's like, it makes my jaws clench up and my mouth water when I think about them. But as a kid, I used to eat those like candy. I love them. You get blisters in your mouth because of all the salts. And I love them. So when I think of salt, that's what I think of what salted chicken, or what'd you say pickled chicken would taste like, is a bag full of wet, salty seeds. So, no. I'm gonna put a hard no on that, guys. Sorry, but I'm putting a hard no on that one. So our rice is in the oven. We have our timer set. Our kale has been washed and torn up to a reasonable size because I want to. Well, I don't like huge pieces like this one. I can probably break it out. And the one good thing about kale as opposed to spinach is it will hold up to some heat. Like spinach, the minute you hit it with heat, it starts falling apart. But kale is like spinach with armor on it. And it has a bitterness, so I always like to finish with bacon fat and a little bit of butter. And but otherwise, you can just literally boil this with just a touch of salt in the water, and then you could put like heavy cream on it. This is a pretty good versatile, not so bitter green if you're going into the green family. But like this dish is traditionally served with collard greens, so this is a good green that will hold up, and it doesn't give that. You don't have to try and punish it to get the flavor out of it. Because this one here, I actually like kale a lot. And I didn't like kale until I started working for these older people, and that's all they wanted was kale every day. Kale, kale, kale. So I spent a lot of time with this little green vegetable, this little green leaf, this little green plant, and I've come to like it. I do. I like kale. Out of all the hardy greens, this is my favorite. I remember you had some salted prunes when, yeah, I got into them. I thought they were awesome. Little did I know, yeah, they are great. They are, but salt, woo, pickled chicken side dish. It will just sit on my grill in the corner. Josh, please. I had such high hopes for you, Josh. I literally think the reason Drea isn't saying anything is because she's literally getting chicken right now and trying to boil it in salt. That's why I think she hasn't said anything. So our soup, I'm trying to put a little more heat. I want a good simmer out of it. I don't want it to just lay flat. I'm not trying to, I want to put some heat to it to get it rolling around. Are you sure? Are you sure, Drea? That's what I believe you're doing. That's so good. I love this soup. Stew. It is stewing. So drink some more water. Stay alive. Stay hydrated, folks. I just got an invite to a cooking club or a cooking team. That's awesome. That is super freaking awesome. I love it. So kind of have to wait. We're circling the runway for at least 4 more minutes. So I'm gonna get my stool because I need to sit down. My back hurts. I got up this morning, and I got up later than I wanted to. And right now in Texas, that's why my face looks like this. I don't have high blood pressure. I just have a red ass face because I was out in the sun. It doesn't take long when you're out in the sun in South Texas to get your face destroyed. Pickle jar juice with chicken sashimi. You know what? Actually, Drea, they actually have chicken sashimi in Asia. They serve their chicken. It's a small little drumstick, and the middle of it is raw. Right around the bone is raw. So you can literally see it's just the clear, dark chicken meat right around the bone, and they eat that. So yeah, that is exactly what. Yeah, you're like, ew, right, exactly. But they like it that way. What am I gonna do? I wouldn't eat it. I would love to go to like take a tour through Southeast Asia and just eat the food. But I would only eat the food that didn't weird me out. I'm not gonna eat a scorpion on a stick. I don't see the point in eating beetles or scorpions or any other body part of an animal that isn't staying out of the crotch. I don't want balls. I don't want, penis. I don't want anything. I don't want no poop soup. Yeah, Drea, aren't you supposed to be playing with us tonight? Playing what? I wasn't invited. That's bullshit, Drea. You get invited to the Fun Time Rex show, and I get to sit here and make him Fishwaya, and now he won't invite me. Wow, I'm hurt, Rex. I know that she's a female, and I understand you want to cut down on the sausage party, but a bit of headache, and don't starve. Yeah, just eat, Drea. Eat that pickled chicken you're making. Get wrecked. Oh, Drea. Wow, Rex. Wow. Unbelievable.
Okay, Kevin, you can play with me.
Alright. Unless I get an invite from Rex.
Wow.
So yeah, I went outside.
Oh, I looked at that game. They have it on Steam.
Don't Starve Together?
Yeah. It looks like a cool little game. I watched the gameplay on YouTube.
Is it literally called Don't Starve
Yeah.
Together?
There's like a few of them. It's like Don't Starve Alone, or Don't Starve, and then Don't Starve Together, and then there's another one.
Oh, I didn't know that. I own that. Oh, you do? Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. I had forgotten. Yeah, I forgot too, Drea, because I was never invited. So that's why I forgot. Because I didn't get the invite. So, sad. That's what my red face is, because I'm sad. So I was out in the sun all morning, weed eating my yard, which my yard is huge. Figured what you're making. Rex figured out what you're making. Did he? Rex, yeah, I'm supposed to get the code tonight. I'm heading home tonight and SMA starts. You forgot about us. Yeah, she forgot about us. Rex forgot about me. So that's cool. That's slacker. Yeah, I know. He figured out what I was making, so I got uninvited to something I was never invited to. So that's awesome. So we're waiting the last 38 seconds on our rice, and then we'll start our kale, and then we'll check on our soup. I think it's pretty dang close. Let me check it, because I don't really have anything. Everything I have in there is already cooked. So really, all I'm trying to do is soften everything up, and that usually takes about an hour. I was invited from someone else. Stop crying. All right, Rex. If you say so. But I'm gonna cry, and you're gonna listen to it. You're gonna listen to my tears, my white tears, my pink tears of sadness. Oh, this soup's so good. All right, so we're going to set the timer. I'm going to shut the oven off. Now we take our rice out of the oven. We left it in a 350-degree oven for 20 minutes with a damp towel. Bob's your uncle. Take your rice out. Set it over here. Do not touch your pan at all for 10 minutes. So we're going to clear that. We'll set a timer 10 minutes. Start. Apparently I've got the little one over there trying to eat my soup.
Oh, that's hot.
Oh yeah, it's boiling. Abs, you're doing an amazing job with these transitions.
Thank you, Rex. Even though
Mayo
I
tears.
transitioned like 6 times, sometimes
I'm
because
loading
he
it
moves
up.
around like a crazy person.
I have to. I'm like a pink tiger.
Stop.
Like a pink tiger. All right, let's get our pan. Wash that out. Start our kale. Now, kale, it's the water that's inside kale is a super important part of the kale itself. as far as to how to make kale palatable and also how to make kale not so freaking crunchy. So, unlike spinach that releases its water almost instantaneously once you hit it with heat, kale is stubborn. Kale likes to hold on to its water, but once it starts to release its water, it actually will run out of water before the kale is cooked. So you have to treat it like a race. Not a lot of heat, because you don't want to burn out the water that's in the kale, and not so little heat to where it never actually punches that water out of it.
Young pink tiger.
Wow. Yep.
Are you gonna be at the stove now?
Just for a second.
Okay.
So I washed out my pan, and then we're going to start our brains. Put it on medium. We're going to get our kale, and I'm probably going to add. I'm going to start out because I'm basically trying to get this to start releasing its water. Oh, you're his son. Nice to meet you, man. He's told me a lot about you. Oh, it's good. I don't even have to give enough. My Faja. I'm his Faja. I am his Faja. Not like James who says I'm his Faja. I'm not James's Faja. But I'm certainly Face Kick's Faja. Add a little chicken stock to it just to help the
leaves start to wilt. Because, like I said, kale is one of those things where
you have to allow it to release its water, but it fights you. Kale fights you to release its water to start softening it. Oh, you're his son. Okay. Give him shit. Yeah, you do, Rex. And trust me, Face Kick loves it. Anyone that gives me shit, they love. I know, wouldn't that be great? I would love a black son. That would be awesome. I would treat him so well. I treat my pink son or my red son.
My pink son.
I treat him well. But if I had a little black son, that'd
Tell
be so
him about
awesome.
when Devin went to school in Alabama.
Oh yeah, Devin went to. Actually, we lived in Alabama. Yes, Josh, I have a purple son.
He would fry. He fried
No.
walking to the car.
No, he can't. We can't, Drea. He will explode. He's a ginger, or as Josh calls him, a purple. He's a purple son. So when I lived in Alabama, Devin went to an all-black school, and I don't mean like the majority of the kids were black. I mean literally, Devin was the only white kid in the whole school. So after school, and he was a foot taller than everyone in school. So every time I would go to pick him up, he was the easiest kid to find. You see this tall, giant redhead standing in a sea of black kids, just as far as the eye can see. Oh. Yeah. It was great. Yes, sir. He's watched you stream a lot. I watched you have a hell of a time on Spider-Man. Yeah. So it was easy to find him because he was and it was one of those schools in Alabama. It was in Birmingham, and all the elementary school kids had to wear clear backpacks. So it was that much of a school. There were more Haitians. There were more Haitian kids than white kids. There were more any other race that you can pick than white kids. Devin was the only singular white kid in that whole school. And Devin is so super cool, and he's super adjusted to everything. Oh, okay, fine, Rex. I was telling you a story, but that's okay. You just drive home and play your game with your new friends. And little pink Kevin will sit here on the sidelines, wondering what happened. Have a safe ride home, Rex. You bastard. Josh, when will you have to rock a clear backpack? That's when you start wanting. I know, yeah. In grade school, rocking a clear backpack. Yep. What do you have to do?
Stove time?
no, I'm just putting the kale.
So I put the kale on the stove, and my soup is boiling away. It looks beautiful. It smells amazing. Now I heard your story. Shut up, Kevin.
Wow, he called you Kevin.
I know he did. Yes, sir, Rex. Yes, sir. See, he kicks me out of a game invite and then he starts calling me by my real name. I get it. I got it. I got you. I got you. I got you. Wow. This suit is freaking amazing. So to retard the shut up with love. So to retard the exodus of the liquid inside the pail, I'm going to incorporate a lid. I'm starting to use all my big words now. I'm going to spend all my big words. So I'm going to put a lid on there to retard the reduction of that water inside my kale. So I'm going to utilize the water in my kale to help me soften my kale, and then I will actually do something. This kedrin? Am I saying that correctly? Kedrin? I would love to hear you pronounce that without fucking up. Kedrin. 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 I think I'm saying it right, so you shut up, Rex. Kedrin. Come on, tell me I'm right. Tell me I said it right. Tell me.
I thought your name was Kendrick.
No, it's Kedrin.
Kedrin?
It's got to be Kedrin. Well, he's on his way home, so he's not going to answer me. Even if I said it right, he's not going to give it to me. So, see? I knew it. Knew it. Oh, the soup smells amazing. Kedrin. 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 It has to be Kedrin. There's no other way of saying it. Kedrin. That's what I'm saying.
Kedrin.
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 Key and Peele. Substitutes. Yeah, I know. Cadadron. It's Cadadron here. All right, Rex. Have a safe ride home. Cadadron. Is Cadadron here? So, waiting on our soup, waiting on our rice. Just started our kale. We're doing good. So, legumes, as they are referred to, beans, legumes. Like I said, the universal, Aaron. Sir, it's Aaron. Shut up, Aaron. So to do this dish, I'm going to segment some oranges. Cadadron. Get inside, Cadadron. So we're going to segment some oranges. Go to the cutting board. I'm going to do this sitting down, because that's the rebel I am. So, find the pea. Find the pea. Find the pea. Which orange is it in? So, we're going to segment some oranges for this dish, because I like the oranges for decoration, but I also want the functionality of a segmented orange so you don't have to mess with it. Because nobody wants to stick their hands in their soup while they're eating it. So we're going to segment, which segment means we're just taking out the pit, which is the white part of the orange that makes it bitter. And we're going to make some nice, pretty oranges. So, to segment an orange, you want me to go to war with you, Balake? Oh, that's funny. So I like sitting down. I feel like the drive-through person at Denny's, where they sit down the whole day. They lean out the window in a seat. I love it. This is my new pose, guys. That's it. I'm going to be known as the sit-down chef. That's my rice. Well, so much for sitting down. Shut that off. Kale's doing good. Let's check our rice. Oh, yes, that rice is gorgeous. But because the heat has dissipated through the rice, I don't have to do anything to it until I'm ready to serve it. So it's fine, just sitting back there, hanging out, doing its thing. Because I've already used up all the energy from the heat and the water to cook the rice, so it can just sit back there for a little bit while we segment some oranges. So, we're going to need a bowl. Now, I want to do a decorative piece of, it's a classic, almost dated orange flower for you guys. No mic in the kitchen. Face kick. No mic. I thought this
And
was
Josh.
the microwave. He. Off in the second. Yeah, Josh. I'm actually just microwaving you some food and then going ta-da. So I need myself my handy dandy. This one will work, but I think this one will work better. So we'll own our tiny knife.
Stop.
Tiny knife. It's a tiny laugh. Alright. Ooh, raise a shaw. Ooh, my knife raised a shaw. So, I hope you guys are having fun. All 11 viewers that I have currently in my room. Hope you guys are enjoying yourself. Thank you guys for talking in chat. I really appreciate that. It gives me something to work off of. And I don't care if you harass me. So I'm going to make an orange flower. So here's some garmage for you, all up in your faces. So we're going to take our bowl. We're going to put our segments in. Now we're going to make a rose out of an orange. So you start by cutting the top off, but not all the way, just to there. Okay. Yep. Do you cook as well? It is in our living room. Oh yeah, the microwave's in the living room. I kicked the microwave out when I started doing this. And then all we're going to do is we're going to work around the orange, just sawing ever so gently. Moving the orange, the knife stays in place, we move the orange. And all I'm trying to do is aim the knife. My eyesight is focused on the front of the blade, not the back. I don't care what the back of the blade does. I'm just trying to cut through ever so slightly, just the orange part of the knife into the orange. Do not get hyper or you will break your stride and you will mess up your orange rose. So just saw, move your orange, sawing, moving your orange. This is about as instructional video voice that I have. So suck it if you don't like it. So we're sawing our orange, we're peeling our orange. It's beautiful. It's really lovely. Don't care about what the backside's doing, because the more backside's wompier, the prettier it turns out. So we're just working that knife slowly, patiently. Take your time. It's going to be beautiful. All your friends and family. Great for Thanksgiving. You can wrap a turkey around it, put it around the display of the turkey. Just be patient. Let the knife do all the work. Slowly cutting. I worked in a restaurant. Yeah, Face Kick was restaurant for 10 years. He worked in the pit. So he's had more restaurants experience than I have. I got out of there as soon as I realized what it was. I like the delicateness. Oh, my kale's burning. Hang on. It's not burning, but it needs to be moved. Whew, saved it. Smelled that behind me. I was like, hey, why does it smell like Asian food? Oh shit, that was close. That was close. That's what I mean by the whole water and liquid stuff. It was. See how I jumped up and retroly acted to that? Kale. Why you do this to me, Kales? Yeah, we're good. Didn't burn. Did not burn. It almost started to. See how I got focused in on my damn orange? And my kale said, you know what? I am going to say, fuck you. Now I'm going to add some bacon to it. We're going to bring a little fat. Throw a couple chunks of bacon in there. Snuck everywhere. I smelt that kale, and it got to that point where I was like, ah! So I had to run over here and fix my kale. Bacon was seducing, or the orange was seducing me with its cutting ways. But honestly, it's turned out really perfect. Taste that piece with it. Yeah. That's exactly what I want. We saved it, guys. Now, Face Kick is not going to eat the kale because he hates greens. Bueller, yeah, exactly. So we're going to turn that down. We're going to stir our soup too while I'm up. Oh yeah. Oh, that smells so good. Oh, back to our orange. This is an orange dish, so always try and garnish dish with the same stuff you're using, because it would be weird if you had something on a dish. It may look pretty, but if it's not in the actual dish, it's just weird to garnish things that aren't in the actual dish. You're like, why do you have an orange rose on top of something that doesn't have orange in it? This is a visual effect, and it's like, hey, there's orange in here. So, cutting slowly, and then when we get to the bottom, we're going to cut around, and then we're going to pull the knife back, and we're going to cut across the whole bottom. Just like that. Okay? There you go. Hey, I could be a lot better, but when it comes to working with lessons, let's just say it gets loud. Yeah, I love my son to death, but him and I are not good work partners because he's stubborn and I'm stubborn, and so it never starts out or ends well for either of us. And we've come to accept that. We don't work well together. We just don't. And then all I'm doing now, and I'm going to show you, is I'm starting this and I'm just going to start rolling it around itself like that. So I just roll it back up, starting with the end I started with. I'm just rolling that. Yeah, we're both very opinionated, stubborn-headed, and we both are super. He's intelligent. He's more intelligent than I am, so I just have to yell louder. So it balances out. My son is a dick. My son's a dick too, Rex. But he's the first person in the restaurant that called me an asshole to my face. He's like, "You're being an asshole." I'm like, "Ow, that hurt." But
you were being an asshole.
yeah, that's what everyone said. But you were being an asshole. It's not the point. Look at that, folks. Here, I'll show it to you. And you're like, "Holy shit, that is pretty." Look. See? Look at that. We made an orange flower. Isn't that beautiful? And that's good for garnish. Because I'm going to segment the oranges anyway. So why not make a little orange flower for you guys? Now, segmenting an orange. We take the orange and we cut the pith off the bottom. And we cut it off the top. Okay. I don't have a son, but he's still So then we're going to go down the sides, and we just want to cut through the pith and get rid of it. That's what we're doing. Just like that. See that? And then we just follow, get off there. We just follow around, cutting off the white part, the pith, the bitter, nasty part of an orange. So this is decorative. This is, like I said, I like this soup, and I like to have segmented oranges because you don't have to sit there and eat the peel or get rid of the peel. So it's nice for this soup for decorative purposes to have a couple of these fresh on top of the soup whenever it's served, so nobody has to dig through it. Like shrimp with the tail on them is great if they're able to pick up the shrimp. If it is in we made the risotto, you don't want shrimp with tails on it because that means they have to pick into their food to eat it, and you really ideally don't want that for them. This is what a peeled orange looks like. And then to segment, all you do is you take your knife and you start on either side of this white pith part, and you just work your knife to the center, and then you work your knife on the other side to the center, and then you bloop, there's a segmented orange. Okay? So in other words, there's nothing but orange. There's none of this stuff. So you go in here and you go to the middle, and then you go on this side and you go to the middle, and then you boop, that's a segmented orange. So you just do that many times to get rid of the orange. Pretty cool, huh? So you segment an orange. And it's easier to do on the table, but I'm doing this so you guys can see it on camera.
Oh my God, Rex, don't even.
Yummy, 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 yummy fruit salad. This is why my job is the restaurant. Fruit salad is yummy, yummy, yummy. Fruit salad is yummy. When he showed me this, I was blown away. Oh, the segmenting? Yeah, the segmenting in the orange. Yep. It's just such a great, just straight orange flavor. You don't have to deal with the rest of the chewy stuff getting in the way, the pith and the outside. Cutting, and we're cutting, and we are cutting, and then we are cutting some more. The soup's a little bit louder than what I want. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. So there's segmented oranges. Classic segment. Now you can eat this. This is completely eatable. This is really just the rest of the orange. This is a little too insanely bubbly. This. Let me get my soup stirred. Give my kale a stir. Ah! That's not great. Yeah, turned out nice. I caught it just in time.
You said there was something to eat?
Huh?
You said there was something to eat?
Oranges. Being hijacked. Thank you, Drea. I appreciate you saying that. I wasn't paying attention to chat because I don't want to cut my fingers off because this is a finesse thing. So I wanted to show you guys how to segment an orange. So it's just a nicer approach to just, instead of just cutting up the orange, so you get some nice pretty, like almost like tangerine. Like you see this, like the canned tangerines look like this. It's the same thing. You just segment it. So we're gonna cut this one, make a pretty flower, and we're just going around, following the line, cutting through the orange. It's just a fun way. This helps practicing your paring knife skills, and it's something that's a little extra that you can put on your plates to make them pretty. You can put them in the, like if you do a paella, I love saying that word, and you can put these on top if there's orange in your paella. But do the same thing with apples. You make apple flowers. But once you make these, you want to soak them in water with a little bit of baking soda so that they don't dry out and look like crap, because that's what's going to happen to them. So anything you do like this, any garmage stuff like the apples, you got to soak them, otherwise they start turning brown and then they look really gross. So make sure that you, once you spend all this time trying to make a pretty, I do this for cheese trays a lot. If you go onto my, I think it's Facebook has my cheese trays on there, and you'll see that there's these on there. Same thing. Then I'm going to just tear that front part off, boop, and then I'm going to start rolling it with the orange side will be facing out when you roll it. Yeah, it does, yeah. That's why you cut out the pith, and then you don't have the, because the flower is actually being built on the back side. It's not on the front side. So the further you go wrapping it, you want to wrap around sides. I wish I could look, but I just don't want to crash. Don't crash, the Rex. You gotta get home so you can play a game without me. It's making the noise an integral part of the creating the rose. Yes, it's making the nose an internal part. Not really.
Noise.
Oh, the noise? It's making the noise, and yes, it is exactly. It is the most important part. When you're done rolling up your oranges, and if you don't say boop, then no, it's a crap orange. There's another one of them. See how pretty those are? Easy to make. And then you just throw them on your dishes. It's kind of dated. It's kind of a 70s thing, but I still like it. It's an easy trick to learn, and it goes a long way to presentation. See, now this one here is a weird orange. It's going to segment differently because it has a lot of cells in it. So I'm not going to get very much out of this, but we're going to try. Boop. Super important part. Probably the most important part is the boop. Yeah, this ain't going to segment at all. This one's goofy. We'll get a little out of it. Like I said, there's only going to be 3 people eating this soup. Alyssa might eat it. There might be 4. But Face Kick is going to eat all these oranges. So I've got to make a lot. Because he's the one who's going to power eat all these oranges. But I don't think he gets out until midnight. So we're going to have to set him aside some oranges. Some segmented oranges. I don't know what's going on in chat. I got my head down, but...
Like grandma's cinnamon buns. Devin said she will.
Like grandmom's cinnamon buns. Yes, Josh. Yep. Yep. Just like grandma's cinnamon buns. Right, Drea? Grandma's cinnamon buns. Drea. You guys should have a quick stream together. It'd be like American Chop. Yeah, it would. That's exactly what it... That is exactly what it would be like. That's exactly what it would be like. He is very stubborn. I am very stubborn. I have more knowledge, but he has more common sense. He's like, why do it that way when you could do it this way? And I'm like, well, because we don't do it that way. And then a fight ensues. But the good thing about it is we both can accept that. You know, we love each other to death, and we can sit there and scream at each other, and when it's over, we're super cool. It used to scare the crap out of the people in the restaurant when me and Devin would start going, or me and Face Kick would start going at it, because we're both big dudes. He's bigger than I am. He's 6'5", and I'm 6'2". So, and we would start going at it, and everyone in the restaurant who was under 5 feet tall would just, well, they weren't under 5, but they were in the mid-5s. They weren't anywhere near the giant redheads. So they would just freak out. They thought we were going to murder everybody and ourselves. Murder-suicide the whole building. So murder-suicide. It was fun. But then right after we spoke our piece, we just went back to working. You know, that's how we dealt with it. It wasn't like we could stop and figure anything out. We just burst energied and then went back to working. When everything was said and done, we just, you know, I don't think it ever affected our father-son relationship, but it fucked up our work relationship. And then we both realized, you know, we can't work with each other. And that's cool. There ain't nothing wrong with that. I love him still as much as I did the day he was born. So, it's cool. Him and I can yell at each other. And we don't really ever, because he's super chill and I'm pretty chill, so we don't ever really yell at each other. But at least we're honest with each other. And sometimes he says stuff that stings. He hurts my feelings. I'm more of a lady than he is. You would think that I would be the one that's like, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I ended up being cleanup. Yeah. Yeah, and God forbid somebody got in our way or got in between us. Then we'd both turn on that person, which was always terrible. So if they, you know, if him and I were going at it and somebody tried to step in between, then we would join forces and destroy that person. So it was never wise to get in between us. So we're segmenting our oranges. And this is like almost therapeutic to me. Segmenting oranges to me is like, I love it. I can sit here and segment oranges for hours. I get to sit here and cut vegetables for hours. As long as I can sit down. This is my last orange, so we won't be doing this.
Poor Kathy.
Oh yeah. Kathy got in between us one time.
Well, to be fair, you both were already previously upset with Kathy every second of the day.
Well, yeah. She made the fatal mistake of getting in between us. That was a day. That was a day. So, just segment our oranges. It was fun. So, like I said, this is straight for so you don't have to peel an orange while you're trying to eat your fish wada. It takes some time, but it's so much worth it whenever your guests or yourself go to eat it and you're not sucking on an orange rind or pulling food out of your soup with your hands. Nobody likes that. And if you don't want to segment it, then put some sliced orange on the side of the dish, like do a soup bowl type thing or a plate bowl. And then you can put if you just don't want to spend the time to segment the orange and you just want to cut it up, you can do that too. You'll see that in a lot of restaurants that serve this. They don't spend the time and the labor to actually segment out oranges. And if they are segmented and they're perfectly shaped, then they're most likely bought and they come out of a can. So we used to segment our oranges in our salads and in our fish water when we made it. So we spent a lot of time in doing stuff right. That, like I said before, it didn't balance with quality or quantity. Everybody wanted everything now, and we're sitting back there trying to make it pretty and do the orange slices, and you know what I mean. And they wouldn't tolerate it. So nobody got it, which was cool. I didn't care. I still did it my way, just like the old Sinatra. All right, the soup. I'm gonna check those ham hocks, because I know they're close. Woo! What they are is hot. Ham hock out there. Cut that up, see where we're at. I think it's close. Oh yeah. Ow. Mm. 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 I love ham hock. I do. I love any smoky pig. Yeah. Yeah, we actually worked a recipe out for our pancake batter. And we failed more than we succeeded on recipes. We made a lot of mistakes to get it right. And we started from scratch. So, sorry I'm eating in front of your faces, but.
Got there at like 5 in the morning every day to make bread.
Yep.
That was horrible.
Show up at 4 or 5 in the morning to make the bread for the cinnamon rolls. So by breakfast we had fresh cinnamon rolls. Plus we needed to make all the hamburger buns, all the breads that we needed for the sandwiches, all the focaccia breads. Oh yeah, and it was just me in the mornings. So I would work from 4 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, when I moved in, I started going with you.
Yeah. But, and then we'd do cooking classes on Fridays. It's Friday, right? Or Saturday, Friday night, we did a cooking class so I would work from 4 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the morning the next day. Yeah. Yeah. I slept very little. And I did it, I worked 7 days a week too. So, my patience was thin. Thin. Soup's amazing right now. So I'm going to add the other black beans to this, because it's ready. Look at that. Timing is everything, boys and girls. Our rice is ready. All I gotta do is chop up my veggie veg. Soup's about, the stew.
You said go to the stew?
No, I said the stew is about ready. The greens look good. I got my segmented orange. I got my gay orange flowers for Pride Month. I got extra oranges to eat.
I eat too many cookies.
That's what you get. Where'd you get cookies?
Don't worry about it.
I know. I didn't even get any cookies. I don't get invited to play games. I don't get cookies. What is this, Russia? So then, I got my extra chunks of orange. If you're a chef, or you do this for a living, or you know chefs, this is how they eat. In the back of the kitchen, off of a plate, stuffing down leftovers and chop subs.
Oh no, I bought some of those frosted cookies.
Oh, that's right.
My chair is wonky.
Yep.
I need a new chair.
Fix it. I'm trying to stream here. We don't have time to deal with your personal cookie and chair problems.
Oh, James is back.
Welcome back, James. Our phone died and you're still here. I know. We talked about you earlier. And Rex said I would love, it'd be cool if I had a black son. So you were sort of talking about it.
Raid your channel when we're done, James?
Raid my channel for 100 bits. I'll raid your channel just because, okay? You don't gotta give me 100 bits, but I will raid your channel for sure. Because you asked. That's me. Yes, James. So we're about ready to plate up. As soon as I get this together, I want to chop up some green onion, or scallions as they are called, but they are just a green onion. Scallion.
Gave you some bits.
Thank you, James. That's so nice of you. You are freaking awesome, James. So we're gonna take our shot. I had fun. I don't know about everyone in this room or in this stream. I don't know what you guys call it. I really had fun today. I'm cooking my favorite meal, and yesterday's stream with the sushi went really well. That worked. That turned out nice. After the stream is over, Gabtilla came over here and made her own sushi.
And I made a cheesecake last night.
And she made a cheesecake last night. So not
James
only.
said Happy Father's Day.
Thank you, James. I appreciate it. I expect gifts. Thank you for the bits too, dude. So we're gonna chop up some green onion. Then we're gonna get some cilantro going. This stew, if you, I don't know if Josh is still in here or not, but when you make this stew, Josh, it's gonna, yeah, there you go, man. This cheesecake you made me actually want cheesecake. That's saying a lot. Yeah, I know, because you're like cheesecake OD. But when you make this stew, I guarantee you, if this does not become your favorite dish, then you are soulless. This is right up your alley. This is like bumper lanes at a bowling alley. This should be in you, like Face Kick Smoke one I made with that Texas Smoke. Oh yeah, that last one I made was freaking amazing. Man, that last sushi I made with the smoked salmon and the spicy tuna. Oh Jesus, that thing was good. That was my favorite one.
Are you finished chopping already?
No.
Okay.
I just gotta make sure my stew doesn't stick. It's gotta thicken a little too. So we got our onions chopped up. Move the chair because we don't need that. It's go time. We got some cilantro going on. Taking out some herbs.
It smells so good in here.
It does. It smells like a Brazilian nightclub. All you have to do is add some tanning cocoa butter smell. And some clove cigarettes. But it's weird because I've noticed as you get more into the internet age of things, that cooking has become less about regional, more so than just travel and stuff like that. But it's easy to go and watch a television show or look up on the internet and completely experience somebody else's food and never set foot in their country. You know, that is super rare. And we're living in a time where we can make dishes from different countries via the internet, via YouTube, via the everything, all the research is available, where you can actually learn the history and actually see the culture of a country that you never stepped foot in. So when I make food from a different country, I not only want to just see it and go, oh, I can do that. I want to see it from their perspective. So no, I don't only just look up recipes. I go and I read the history and I try and watch videos of the actual, that has nothing to do with food. Just watch like in a day in the life of a person from that country, and it just brings me closer to enjoying what it is I'm doing when I make food from there. I think they deserve, any country that you make food from deserves at least that amount of respect whenever you're going to try and make their dishes. So it's super important that the research is done so that you appreciate the time and effort and energy it goes in to making each dish. Not that I can copy it. Could you add a recipe channel in Discord for meals you make? I need to. You are correct, I do. That is something else that we are working on, because I know I have to start giving you guys, numbers, letters, numbers. I know that, and that's the one thing that once I get, because now I'm starting to gain traction. I'm starting to feel like people are showing up because they're specifically enjoying what I'm doing. So now I have to work that next thing in, which is, so I will, Josh, I promise you, I will definitely, if anything, it's going to be a little disorganized at first, but I can get stuff down. You know what I mean? 'Cause we're still kind of learning on our feet as we go. So I've got my cilantro. So I hope that answered your question, or I hope that helps. It's not exactly ideal. Like, yeah, I really want to explain it so that you understand it. I'm gonna throw this bean cake away. Is that okay?
Oh, yes. I'm gonna throw it away before I eat it.
Okay, cool. So our rice is ready. So all we did with the rice, like I said, is we stuck it in a 350-degree oven, stuck a wet towel over it. Look at that rice. Every time, folks, every freaking time you make your rice like this, it turns out perfect. It doesn't stick to the bottom. It just turns out perfect. Now, I said I was going to add a little bit of, because all it is right now is straight rice. So to help it become a little bit more pliable, look at that. It's perfect rice every time. I feel like one of those infomercials. Set it and don't fuck with it. That's my slogan. So to get this rice to be a little bit not so just cooked rice, we're going to add some little green onion for color. I'm going to add a little orange. Oh, just to kind of give it a little bit of an orange flavor. Not much. Then I want to add a little lemon. Wait, what? How'd you make that rice? Oh, Josh, you weren't here? Right, I make all of my white rice the same way. I make it in the oven. So I take the rice, and depending on the type of rice, I rinse it. But the basmati and the jasmine, I don't want to rinse because I don't want to lose that flavor of the basmati and the jasmine. So I just get a pot of, it's 1 and 1 cup of water to 1 cup of rice. Here's 2 and 2 right now. But 1 and 1 is the measurement. I put the pot on the stove and I bring the water to a boil, and then I chuck the rice in there. And then but before I do that, and what I always keep forgetting to do, you want to put your oven on 350 degrees. And then what you want to do is you want to get the rice to start to boil, and then you throw the rice, or the water, and then you throw the rice in there, and then you put a damp towel, which is my towel, is this thing right here. You put a damp towel over top of the rice thing, and then you put a lid that fits on it on top of it. Put it in that 350-degree oven. Set a timer for 20 minutes. When the timer goes off, pull it out of the oven and set it on a pot holder so it doesn't burn your countertop. And don't touch it for 10 minutes. And then when the 10 minutes are over, just take it apart and you have perfectly cooked rice every time. White rice. Now the other stuff we'll go into when we get into like countries and stuff like that. But to make perfect white rice every time for any 1-to-1 boil water, throw rice in damp pot into 350 degrees for 20 minutes. Then take it out and don't uncover it. Turn off. No, just take it out of the oven. Take it out of the oven and sit it on the counter on a pot holder. Take out for 10 minutes. Yes, don't touch it, and then you can take the lid off and do whatever the hell you want to do with it, because you have perfectly cooked rice. Yeah, rice that spins. That's why my pots are warped, because they spend more time in the oven than they do on the stove top. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that would be a great way to do rice. Absolutely. So my rice is, I'm going to taste it and make sure it's right. Make sure it's rice. Huh. Perfectly cooked. Needs lemon. Needs lemon. Needs a little more orange. I just want to bring out a hint of the flavors. I don't want to make it taste like orange and lemon, like freaking 7-Up rice. Which I know is lime and lemon, but still. You guys know what I am saying to you. Because this is going to be your mediator between your meat in the sauce. This is what's going to bring in that straight, clean flavor is this rice. So I don't want to put salt in it. I want the meat in the sauce or the liquid from the stew to do that. So I just want the rice to be a nice, pleasant, fresh flavor that you get when you bite into it. It's really good. A little more green onion. Stir it up. Now, because this rice is right where I want it, but when I put it in a bowl, which is great because it's almost it almost has the shape of a rice that you can form into like those little decorative squares and stuff. So it's got a nice form to it. So it's ideal. So let's get ready for plate up. Got my segmented oranges. I got my, ooh, I'm excited. I'm excited because I get to eat this. And I get to plate it up. Both exciting times here. All right, let's do it in this. This is perfect. I actually have a perfect dish for this. Look at that little guy. How's that for a perfect dish? It's soup-like. Oh, I'm excited. All right, first thing I want to do is I want to find something to scoop of rice. So, found the rice, scoop it up. So I'll take some rice and put it in the corner. Beautiful. Like I said, I always plate it up. I need some more green stuff. Keep with me, guys. Keep with me. I'm ready to do this. All right. I'm gonna take my kale, which I love slow cooked bacon. I really do. It's probably my favorite bacon. I cook the bacon in the kale, and now it's nice, and I love, like traditionally this is what bacon was served like. It wasn't crispy. It was just cooked, and you could taste the bacon, the smokiness. And once you start cooking it and frying it to the point where it's crispy, you start releasing the carcinogens in it, and it just isn't the same. This is like cooked meat. So good. Actually, come here, buddy. So nobody but me is probably going to eat the kale. But I love kale, so.
I like the kale.
Okay, good. So me and Gabby are going to eat the kale. That's about it. Oh my God, that makes it so good. We're putting that on the dish. That little rubbery guy's going on the dish. Look at me, I'm not even looking at my knife blade. I'm just looking at you guys. Cutting my bacon, looking at you guys. So I know where my knife is. Why? Because it's touching the cutting board. So I don't have to worry about it. It's doing its job, doing its thing. Don't have to look at it. Yeah! Put that with the kale. Right. Then we're going to take our soup. Here it comes, boys and girls. Here it comes. Here it comes. Get excited. I need. This might work. being quiet right
now because I'm drooling.
So, we're going to take our cilantro, and then we're going to take our, mix that up a little bit, is better, yeah, like that. We're going to take our cilantro, we need to zest our lemons onto the dish. Take our limes, I'm sorry, oranges. We're gonna zest. Do 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 do. My lemons, they are not lemons, they're oranges. Now I need juice. I know I'm really super quiet whenever I clean up, so I'm like, focus, focus, focus. Focus, focus, focus. So I'm just putting juice where it goes underneath the rice. When I see it on the other side of the rice, I think that's pretty good. I don't like what that did to my oranges, so I'm going to put new oranges on there. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Plating up my oranges. Plating up my oranges. Segmented oranges are freaking awesome. They're so tasty and they'll make you cry. They are so sexy. And they make you want to cry. Put a little bit of my oranges on there.
Basically said to drive that plate to him.
That is, yeah, I'll leave it there. That right there, what did I miss? I haven't committed. Okay, freaking drive that plate. Yes. So, I gotta clean off my edges. I'm sloppy on the edges, boys and girls. But this is the international national dish of the Brazilian feijoada. It is a 6-meat stew with black beans. And it's my favorite dish. And I got some kale on the side. Look. That's it.
Smile. Smile. No?
Taking too long? Got a stupid smile on my face?
You look creepy.
Well, stop taking pictures of me. Weirdo. Do That's pretty. That's fishwalla, folks. 7 meat black, 5, 6 meat black bean soup from Brazil, the international dish of Brazil. It's fishwalla, and I made some kale and some rice to go with it. Traditionally, most meat and rice, kale, or greens dishes are served on New Year's in America. So, great dish to work on between now and the next 6 months. So you can make an amazing fishwalla. The orange in this is amazing. The little segments and then the little fresh squeezed orange. I'm gonna do that right now. Little fresh squeezed orange over the top. That orange makes this dish. Otherwise, it's just a plate full of smoked meat. But that orange in there makes all the difference in the world. So we're supposed to. Who are we rating?
James.
All right. So that's it. I don't know how long our stream. Oh wow, 6, 7, 8, 3.5 hour stream. Everyone, high five. The orange edible. What do you think, Drea? You never told me of your thoughts. That's the fishwalla that we made. Huh? Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. I'll turn over to the meat side. Look at the fishwalla we made. No, the orange is not edible. It's just a decorative piece. When you get it, you grab it and you throw it at your waiter. So get that out of there. You like that, Josh? Huh? Josh. That is fishwalla. It's a 6 meat stew with black beans, and then I've got some kale, and then some rice with a little bit of lemon and orange flavor in the rice. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do, because you make very pretty food, and coming from you, I take that as a compliment. So I thank you. So, yes, right. Thank you, Face Kick. Yes, he is correct. Technically, it is edible, but you are not going to like it. Okay. Actually, my cutting board looks good, except for the dork sausage. Well, my cutting board even looks nice. Look at that. I have a pretty cutting board today. So that's it, folks. I'm so happy you guys showed up. Tomorrow's desserts. Yay, we're making desserts. And, hey, get out of there. You and me. We are making rice pudding. I know we're making rice pudding. And then we still haven't fixed the straw poll, so who knows what the hell else we're making. I may make something with chocolate. You guys in the mood for a chocolate cake or a lava cake or a German chocolate cake or rice pudding? Cinnamon buns. Do you really want me to make those cinnamon buns? I don't know. I don't know if you guys are ready for that. I really don't. Oh, okay, Drea. Deal. Pineapple upside down cake. Done. There's a lot of stuff about a pineapple upside down cake that is done horribly wrong. Actually, at one time, he's a Cinnabon machine. Thank you, Face Kick. Pineapple upside down cake there was actually at one time in the 70s when it was such the thing to do. They used to sell pineapple upside down cake pans with all the ingredients like a box kit. So you just bring it home and everything you needed to make the pie. They actually had pineapple upside down pans, which I thought was really cool when I was doing research about it. And I just think it was so a craze that everybody had to have their own pineapple upside down cake, that it just became this thing where you just go buy these kits with these, and you had your pineapple upside down pan that you would kill someone if they used it for anything else than pineapple upside down cake. It has the cutouts for the pineapples. It had the cutouts for the pineapples. Yeah, it did. It was like a Lego. It was awesome. Good. I'm glad you're gonna eat this, because this is freaking amazing. So we gotta take some pictures real quick before Tech comes over here and destroys this. But just throw that in there. I'll eat that. I'll buy that for $1. What are you doing over there? Hello.
Whenever you're ready.
Oh, okay. So I gotta take some pictures. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock, we're doing desserts, rice pudding and pineapple upside down cake. We'll set up for next week. Next week, I think we get into meats. So tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your friends' enemies, tell them come here, follow us. Let's build this up a little bit so that we can get some stuff going. So we're gonna raid Rex. No.
James.
James.
Yeah.
Let him give him some love. He still has to get to 50. So if you get a chance, follow him so he can make his affiliation. And I love you guys. You guys, great stream today. Thank you, Josh, so much for coming in here and hanging out the whole time. And I really appreciate it. And yeah, so we're raiding. So I'm out.
Just waiting for the seconds.
Oh yeah. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Oh yeah.